welcome to the Krueg Show, everybody. Larry Krueger with you from Arizona, courtesy of New York style Italian sausage. But welcome to now. Where is our music here? We got to get the music rolling. Where is our music?
You don't need music.
Oh, we got to have some.
All we need is Larry Krueger
Hold on. Here we go.
and his merry band of bandits.
There we go. All right, welcome to the Pig and a Pickle Krueg Show. We are in Arizona for spring training, courtesy of New York Style Sausage Company, Italian Sausage Company. Thanks to them. And we're here in Arizona, where today I watched the Giants win a Cactus League game. And we're joined by Bay Area Baller on the bottom corner. The great Cyrus Satsis, who was locked on Warriors, who was locked on tonight against the Grizzlies. Watch that. The Dylan Brooks, Draymond Green, Smell My Armpits sequence was always good.
Oh.
And then bottom screen, two guys who look worn out by the incredible numbers that they produced in the live stream earlier tonight.
Yeah.
Dan Coach Emilio and Ryan Smith, who we saw in Scottsdale earlier today. If you notice that, I got
There's got a little sun today.
a little sun. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
I've got a pinkish hue.
Wow. Complete opposite of the Bay Area, Larry. It's like the heaviest rainstorm in my I've ever experienced. I
It's
don't know.
pouring.
We'll experience. Baller, you're in the Bay, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced?
I'm by Larry. Yeah, it's pouring out here in Walnut Creek.
So you're in the creek?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were over in the city.
You know what? I moved out to the East Bay a couple years ago.
Oh, you're back.
But it's pouring.
You're in Larry's hood.
Have you guys experienced any outages? Because this is pretty wild. So I on what day did I come up? Wednesday? When?
Last night?
Yeah, I'm lost in the matrix of just the fact that Arizona is 1 hour different is not only it's messing up all telling of time for me and also dates. But yeah, so I woke up and it was just like in the apocalypse. It was like This Is Us, or not This Is Us, whatever, Last of Us. And just no power in my entire building. This eerie sound of just nothingness. Couldn't even hear the BART train, which is right in the back. And it just sounded like, what the hell is happening? So I actually had to leave, went to my grandmother's house in order just to get some Wi-Fi. And then I came back to do a quick pack up and then head to the airport. Still everything down. I get in to Phoenix and my dad's at midnight PST and he just still everything. And all of downtown Lafayette just toast.
Well, it's funny. My son was, I called him today. He's going to Northgate, and he's like, Dad, I'm getting ready to go to baseball practice. And I'm like, oh, he's like, but it's downpour. It's a downpour here. And supposedly it's not just a downpour, that it's been kind of a cold, icy rain kind of a day. I don't know if you guys can confirm or deny that, but
it's cold.
But in Scottsdale, it was freaking glorious today. I mean, it was actually kind of cloudy in the morning, but by the afternoon, I mean, I don't know. What would you guys
Larry,
say?
why don't you go into detail, tell the majority of your audience is in the Bay Area. Why don't you tell all of us how nice it is there?
Really
Expand,
nice.
please. Yeah, go. Yeah.
Really nice. Look at this is the actual color of my forehead.
Wow.
You see that?
Yeah.
I got to get out in the sun tomorrow, while I'm there. I was impressed.
Yeah, I sat in the stands today.
Did you have a hat on too?
I didn't know. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I worked with Gary Radnich too many years. When he would see somebody wearing a hat, he'd be like, "What are you trying to hide?"
Oh, it was really?
That was Gary's thing. How come you notice you never ever saw Gary wear a hat? Have you guys noticed that? Never. He never wore a hat.
Was it just a bald thing, or did he accuse people of having a little ratatouille up there, controlling everything?
I think it came from his father. He used to say, his dad used to say, "What are you hiding? What are you hiding?"
Yeah.
He had weird little rules about life. He did. Yeah, that was one of them.
I like your son, Christopher, showing up in the Giants locker room wearing an Atlanta Braves hat.
I know. Christopher shows up in the Giants clubhouse wearing a Braves hat. But Austin Wynns did give him a fist pound. And, I'll say this, we got a lot of Warriors to get into with the Grizzlies and the whole thing, and we'll get into it. Niners got a bunch of new compensatory picks. Colton
Did they really?
signed? Yeah.
For what?
What's that? For the
For
draft
what?
for April. Well, why did they get them? They got them because of Robert Saleh and Rand Carthon and all the coaches that have left, and then the free agents.
Daniel.
They got a pick for DJ Jones. They got a pick for Laken Tomlinson. They got a pick for the LSU guy went to Jacksonville. Arden Key.
Good stuff. All right.
Yeah, so they got a bunch. The Niners understand how to work the compensatory deal. So now they got 11 picks. And it's, and I was looking at their needs. They probably have 10, 11 needs. So, and it might just work out just nice.
And Larry, I mean, the people need to know too that like you were, I think the first person, you certainly were the first, maybe the only who kept highlighting the fact that in that Christian McCaffrey trade, because people were sour a little bit on that because of all the picks they had to give up. But you came right in and were like, nope, they're going to make up for all that with compensatory picks. And here you go. They're fine. Yeah. Bravo.
So I was in the Giants clubhouse today wearing my Brock Purdy Mr. Relevant t-shirt. And I go up to a guy in the clubhouse and it's Keaton Wynn. And I'm like, Keaton, tell me a little bit about yourself, bro. And Ryan knows, I mean, one of the things I was just about to say before I got into this is that I love doing media stuff. I've loved doing the streams with you guys. I love, doing the radio on 95.7 The Game. Before that, KMBR. But I'll tell you, I really this year found my real love when let's see, my son is texting me from the other room. Can you try to change the arrangement of the stream so that wait a second.
Larry, you're going on this beautiful monologue here, and then you just stop.
He wants me to change the stream so that people can see the sponsors. Let's see. Is that a way to do it? Well, kind of. How's that? Anyway, we'll play with it. But it says the guy says, Larry, your mic is super low. I'm actually just kind of far away from my mic.
I think you sound
fine. Is it low? Is the mic low?
You sound fine.
No, I got you.
Okay. But what I was going to say is I discovered this year, sometimes you discover what you really love. I discovered this year that I really love to go into the room and go face to face with the players. I like bringing that to the audience.
Yeah.
And I like going face to face with the players. I don't want to hang out all the time. I don't want to be buddies. But I love the content of cut everything out and just go bring your audience straight to, Javon Kinlaw or today Keaton Wynn and Jock Peterson or, whoever. And then, a lot of times the best stuff that Ryan and I would pull out of the Niner locker room started with, hey, man, where are you from? Tell me a little bit about yourself. So I go up to Keaton Wynn today and I say, hey, man, where are you from? Tell me about yourself. He's like, I'm from Iowa. And I'm like, oh, are you an Iowa guy or Iowa State? He's like, oh, Iowa State, man, Iowa State. And I'm like, hey, here we go. Mr. Relevant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what's funny, Larry? Yeah, man, I love Brock Purdy. So we start talking Brock Purdy. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to go face to face, and we're going to put those interviews out there. We'll probably play a couple of them on the show. I know Danny and Rye caught up with people today in the Giants clubhouse. Did you guys actually play those in the stream already on your guys' stream, or did you?
We did, but well, to be fair, we probably shouldn't play them because all of our 20 watchers,
I thought it was 4,000. I thought it was 4,413 in there.
Well, just replay them for this audience. By the way, I want to say, Larry, I wish I could do the same thing for Locked On Warriors with the Golden State Warriors. But the NBA, this is the first year since the pandemic that the NBA has been letting reporters and the media back into the locker room, but they have a really rigid system where there's a quota. And so they've created this tier system for the media where unless you're tier 1, you're not allowed inside the locker room. And they have a quota on those tier 1 passes. So myself and a lot of other media members, when we go to Warriors games, we have to sit in the interview room like schmucks while the cool media people who are determined to apparently be the beat reporters and others who never ask her hard questions, they're the ones that are granted access into the locker room. This didn't used to be the case. Larry, I'm guessing you've been in NBA locker rooms before. Yeah. I used to go in there all the time. And and we can't do that now. It sucks. So I wish I could provide the same access that you're doing with your show. Kudos.
That's the one thing I don't love about the NBA. I remember, going up to the Cleveland, calling the Cleveland Cavaliers. Hey, so LeBron James is rolling in. When's a good time to talk to LeBron? Oh, LeBron doesn't talk. Well, what do you mean LeBron doesn't talk? Well, he only will speak at the podium. And I go, when does he do one-on-one interviews? He doesn't.
Yep.
And it's like,
yep.
And that's kind of that's unfortunately the fans lose out, I think. But baseball, baseball didn't have a lot of options or a lot of access to the players, during the pandemic, obviously. So it's been a number of years since I've had a chance to actually go in there and just talk to guys. And I had a great conversation today with Elliot Ramos, and I'm like, man, I'm a big fan of your game. What, you had a bad year last year statistically. What the hell happened? You know what I mean? I was like, Elliot, what exactly happened to you? Why did you struggle this year? And he, when he got into it, he's like, man, or last year, he's like, a lot of it was mental, and and he's just going into his mindset and how he looks at things. So I don't know. To me, I like bringing that to the audience, and today getting a chance to be at the game, be in the clubhouse, in the dugout, very cool stuff, and we'll bring a lot of that to you. But I want to get into the Warrior game tonight, 131-110, guys. And why don't we just go around the room? We'll start with Baller. Baller, what'd you think? I was kind of hoping Golden State would knock him around a little bit, especially with Dylan Brooks trying to push back on Draymond and that whole thing going back and forth. And the Grizzlies were ready for this one tonight, no question.
Yeah, and especially without Ja Morant, without Steven Adams, Brandon Clark. It sucks that he tore his Achilles, because I like watching. That's one of the few guys on the Grizzlies I like watching play is Brandon Clark. So even without those three guys, you know what it was, fellas? The Warriors thought they could just show up and get a victory. That's what it looked like. They gave up 48 points in the first quarter. The defense was atrocious, and it was like every facet of defense was bad. The Grizzlies were able to attack off of made buckets. I thought the Warriors were overhelping. It was leading to a lot of open threes. And there was bad pick and roll. I go down the list. Every facet of defense was bad. And this is coming after another extremely poor defensive performance against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So it's like, we know the defense, it's been bad all year, but like the last two games, it's been atrocious.
Mm-hmm. And they're actually, as you said, Eric, they're having to overplay, and it's because they have to clog up the paint when people drive because they have no rim protection.
And they're kicking out to wide open shooters.
Yeah, especially when Draymond's not in there. They have nobody to. Looney's okay, but he doesn't get off the ground much. And then
what happened to Kuminga, by the way? Where was Kuminga?
Oh, his ankle in warm-ups.
Oh, yeah. Is that what it was? It was warm-ups.
Yeah.
It looked like it was a pretty bad one. I don't know if it's going to be a 3 to 5 day deal, or the good thing is it looked like a low ankle. Wasn't one of those high.
What about what they worked in just kind of mid-broadcast? They said Draymond's left hand is injured and it won't be right the rest of the season. Is that how you guys heard it?
Yeah,
that's how I heard it.
And is that from the other night where he was poining to his finger?
I believe
he was like looking at his finger, and he's like,
his left hand's injured, and during the broadcast they said it's not going to be right the rest of the year.
Well, Sai, I really want to hear your thoughts on because you got a good pulse on the psychology of the team. What the hell? It just seemed like even Clay for large stretches, Draymond for large stretches. These guys are. Curry played well again, and it's like they're just throwing the ball all around. Draymond had a horrible sequence where he had a wide open layup. He was like a foot from the basket and then tried to lob it to Looney. And then immediately after that, they got the ball taking it inbounds. He has the ball, throws it over Curry's head. Then the next possession, he gets the pass down low, nobody in front of him, just hangs himself on the rim. on trying to dunk it, and it just seems like it's like almost it's almost like they have some sort of psychological issue on the road at this point that's like become almost a self-fulfilling prophecy.
I don't know if it's a psychological thing on the road. First of all, the Kuminga thing is very serious. That was quite possibly like the worst ankle roll I've ever seen by a player, and it happened during warmups. Just a day earlier, I saw the Kevin Durant ankle roll, and I thought that looked really bad, and he's going to be out a minimum 3 weeks. It's going to be 3 weeks before they just reevaluate him. Kuminga's looked worst. It looked perpendicular, his foot to his to whatever the bone is, the shin. It's bad. I mean, at this point, I'm just hoping it's not a break. There's no ligament tears. That could be something that lasts a while. The initial prognosis is 2 to 4 weeks, but that's just from today. I'm sure we'll get a better update on that tomorrow. The road woes come down to this team just having an absolutely awful bench. Role players typically play good at home and play bad on the road. The Warriors role players this year are pure garbage. They might have something decent on that bench if Kerr ever actually gave certain individuals a shot. But, you know, the player that had the 5th highest minutes in today's game was Ty freaking Jerome, who I'm really happy Reggie Miller called him out on the broadcast today for his utter crap, worthless defense, because porous defense does not show on a stat sheet, right? So everyone looks at Ty Jerome's like 50, 40, 90 numbers, even though he puts up less than 1 free throw a game, less than 2 threes a game, doesn't play every regular season game. His defense was awful, yet he played the 5th highest minutes in this game.
I tweeted out just one clip, and there was multiple clips, but the only one I wanted to get off of my couch to film was Desmond Bane literally just blowing right by him.
That was the play.
Jerome didn't even move his feet, not a single step. And there was multiple plays like that.
Yeah, and they call that, and Reggie Miller called it Olay defense. And for any of you who hear Olay and think of the movie Major League, Dorn, don't give me this Olay bullshit. It was the exact same type of defense from Ty Jerome. Jordan Poole's guilty of it too. Jordan Poole had an awful game tonight. He didn't help things either. But Steve Kerr, to go with a 4-guard lineup that after the game he says they were trying something cute and it didn't work. You're trying things out at this late in the season. The playoffs start in a month. There's 15 games remaining in the season, and he's trying out new things. In this case, being a 4-guard lineup with Draymond Green being the quote-unquote big, the one big at 6'5". How the hell do you think that's going to translate? It didn't work for obvious reasons. So the small ball lineup doesn't work. Kevon Looney was one of the few players doing anything out there. I think, by the way, Kevon Looney is the best rebounder in the NBA. I'm not being hyperbolic saying that. I don't think he's a better rebounder. He got a whopping total of 19 minutes. Patrick Baldwin Jr., the rookie who at 6'10" is by far their biggest player, played 14 minutes. And every time he played, they did okay. Again, and JaMychal Green, who actually was shooting the ball well offensively tonight, 3 for 7 from deep, only played 18 minutes. This is, I don't know if this is the veterans dictating things and the veterans just don't like the youngsters and are being very picky about who they like playing with. I don't know if this is Kerr just being literally this ignorant in terms of understanding what your problems are. But Moses Moody was in Santa Cruz tonight to give you an idea of just how little Steve Kerr likes Moses Moody. Steve Kerr doesn't like bigs. Steve Kerr seems to only like players who are 6'5" and below. And the result is a defending world champion who's just a game above 500 and seriously in danger of not making the playoffs. That's where they are.
I don't know. He liked Verjao in the 2016 Game 7 finals.
Times have changed. Ever since times have changed. Ever since JaVale McGee, he hasn't really given a traditional big real run. I know they had Willie Cauley-Stein for a little bit, but this is the team they are now, man. And I don't know how they're going to fix this, but if you're not going to give your bigger players, your more athletic players a shot, you're not going to win. Plain and simple. Andre Iguodala got 18 minutes tonight, taking Kuminga's minutes, and I think Iguodala is done. In all honesty, he's not even the shutdown defender he once was. So they're just screwed. I don't know how this is going to end up, but it's all
This is an interesting one right here from Kevin F. Guys, and this is a great point. Nobody on the Dubs is in the prime of their career except for Andrew Wiggins. I guess you could also say DiVincenzo. But for the most part, they've got guys who are
Curry's
a little
still
too
playing.
young.
When he's on the court, Steph Curry's still playing at a peak level.
Agreed.
Okay. But I mean, would you say he's crested the hill? I would say he has.
I think it's on the top of the hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
The same way that like Tom Brady was not in the like prime of his career in like 2018. Like
this is interesting too, guys. Alex says the Krueg at the Krueg show says it's starting to feel like this is Kerr's last year with the Warriors. He feels like he's losing it. He feels like he's losing the locker room, and Lakeup might be ready to move on sooner rather than later.
It wouldn't surprise me. I've been saying that for a while. I've been saying for a while this could be Kerr's last year. I mean, look, next year he's going to be a lame duck coach. We've talked about this before. Lame duck coaches don't exist in the NBA. When you're on your last year of your deal, either you get an extension or you're out. And if the Warriors continue this direction that they're going down, it wouldn't surprise me if they kind of decided to move on. And somebody in the Mario Trutanik in the chat writes that last week I was saying I was much more encouraged. Yeah, last week they had a 5-0 homestand. They look good, but when you see them playing on the road like this, like they have the second worst road record in the NBA.
They lost crazy. 8 in a row, on the road.
Yes.
Well, and have you guys taken a look at the schedule?
Their defense on the road. What'd you say, Ryan?
Have you taken a look at the schedule? It's kind of scary. They're going back home to play Milwaukee and Phoenix, and then they have 5 straight on the road.
That Phoenix game's winnable now without Durant. But they're in trouble. They're in huge trouble. I'm losing faith. I'm losing faith fast.
Well, do you have any insight on Wiggins at this point? Because this is my saving grace. Is I do think the problem is defense, and they could possibly be getting back soon 2 of the 7 or 8 best defensive players in the league.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're out of the running. They could still win the championship for that reason. Because you're right. Wiggins, if he's healthy in his prime, is a difference maker out there. Gary Payton II is one of the best defenders in the game. You're right. Hope is not lost. I'm just saying time's running out, and my encouragement's fading about this team because the fact that they just like Kerr is like literally, he's perpetuating the definition of insanity, man. Like you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and just magically expect something different to happen. Like this is insane. It's absolutely insane. I do not understand. It's just nonsensical what's going on.
Well, let me ask you, because Cy just kind of threw out something there that I think is interesting. We're openly complaining about the Warriors' obvious issues. They can't beat anybody on the road all year, and it's now second week of March.
Yeah.
But he also said he could see them winning the title. Mm-hmm. Can you see them, Baller, winning the title?
Yes. I'm looking at this Western Conference, and there's only 2 teams that I think have a better shot at coming out of the West other than the Warriors, and it's the Nuggets and it's the Suns. And I think the Warriors still now they might have to catch some lightning in a bottle. That's the thing, because we know the defense is a problem, but I absolutely think they still have a chance. And here's one move that I think should have been done yesterday. I don't know if they have to wait for Quinones. Maybe one of you guys can clear it up for me. But Anthony Lamb shouldn't be in the G League. He should be on this team. He should be on the court playing. Steve Kerr, Larry, you talked to Steve Kerr. I heard that interview, and he likes Lamb. He said, "Hey, Lamb just." He
also, by the way, to Cy's point, Baller, I asked Kerr about his lame duck status going into next year. And guys, I swear to you, I feel like I've got a pretty good read when people are giving me bullshit. And he sounded like a guy who expects to be the coach of the Warriors for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
He did, right? I mean, he wasn't like, we'll have to see. There's coded language that you could use that would be like, hey, we'll just we'll play this out. We'll see how this goes. Whatever. It wasn't any of that. It was like, I fully expect to be the coach of the Warriors going forward. I love what I do.
Do you guys foresee, now that Kuminga may be out 2+ weeks and you're coming down the stretch, that Wiggins, I don't know, I don't want to say the team puts pressure on him, but maybe he feels like, hey, I need to get back to my teammates. They need me. Without Kuminga and Wiggins and Lamb, he's already met his 50 games. What are they going to do for a wing?
Well, they're gonna re-sign. So Lester Quinones, his 10-day deal is going to expire on Tuesday, And what I imagine happening is they're either gonna give Lamb that 15th roster spot at that point, or that's it for Lamb and his time is up. And all he has left is the G League, and then I don't know what happens from there.
Wouldn't that be something if one of Kerr's guys, someone who he likes to give what's his minute allocation, like 15 to 20 minutes?
For Lamb, he's averaging over 20 a game.
So Steve Kerr likes the player, gives him minutes. I think he's pretty solid too. I know Warriors Twitter hates him, and he's not that popular.
Big on him, he's average at best. He's a mid. But anyway, go ahead. Yes, sir.
I kind of see what Kerr sees in him. So I think.
What do you see in him that's so great? I'm curious because I see a guy who's average at best. Like
I see that he does nothing bad. He's a good passer. Now the 3-point shot is something that he has to hit it at least at like a 38% clip. That's the jumper seemed to go cold there for a couple weeks around the All-Star break, but he's got to get back to form. He was shooting 40% there for quite a while because they need someone that can stretch the floor and that he can guard multiple positions.
He spaces the floor.
He's in the right spot defensively. He's a good help defender. I don't think he's bad on ball.
Baller, you say that, but then like literally in the last week when he was playing, Jordan Poole, Stephen Curry, and Draymond Green all yelled at him on the court in front of everybody about missing defensive assignments.
I saw Draymond yell at him.
Yeah, so did Poole and so did Steph because he was in one instance.
Jordan Poole should never be yelling at anybody about defense.
Fair, but they're longstanding members of a team. They're defending champions. They do have that right. I mean, they're permanent members of this team. Anthony Lamb's a two-way guy. I mean, you're sitting here saying that he doesn't do anything wrong defensively. No, he makes a lot of mistakes defensively. He's also and Kerr said that, which was mind-boggling to me. He literally said Lamb like connects the team. He said he's a great defender. He's an okay defender. He's not great, but he's also 6'5". And so what you see a lot happening is Kerr will play Lamb in like a power forward center position, and bigs just sit there and just shoot over him without any impediment. Like it's not him. It's just like his size. 6'5" cannot block, cannot effectively stop bigs. So I don't know what he expects, man. I just think it's crazy that this team's expecting two-way players to be legitimate contributors for the team. I'm getting PTSD from two-way players. I don't want to ever see two-way players on an NBA court again after this season. I mean, it's a disaster. I don't think you can win a championship doing that. That's just me. I don't know.
So, Cy, what do you make of Clay's dad, Michael Thompson's comments?
I heard that he's a big. Of course he's going to have like a bias toward bigs. And Dan, do you want to tell people what he said, just so we're not like
Yeah, basically what Clay's dad said is his concern with the Warriors going forward this year is that you can't look in the rear view mirror when the Warriors have won small. You got to look in the front mirror, because this year he believes you need a big to win it. And because he talked about specifically the Lakers, Anthony Davis taking it to the Warriors last Sunday, and that they had no way to stop him. And he's also talking about Embiid and Jokic and all the bigs that are out there, that the big man is going to play a bigger role, he believes, this year.
And he basically said, just to add to that, he basically said the Warriors or insinuated that the Warriors were lucky last year winning a title without a big. He doesn't think they could do it 2 years in a row. He might be right. Because a lot of these nights, the Warriors are just getting pounded inside. They never win the points in the battle paint. They never win the battle when it comes to points in the paint, ever. I think there's been one.
The first quarter tonight with Spencer Tillman just throwing guys around because Looney wasn't in there.
Yep.
And they went up. This is the problem I'm seeing with the Warriors. They go, especially on the road. You can get away with it at home, but when you go down double digits on the road early, and then you use all your energy to get back in the game, and then the other team then makes another run, then they, Warriors catch up, get to within 2 or 4, and then all of a sudden they're back down 16, 18 again, like tonight. You cannot sustain that on the road because you have no you don't get that kick of adrenaline like you do at home, and you get all this energy spent, and that's why they're dying at the end of games.
Well, and the Curry like flurries are still happening, It's just that now they're happening and it's bringing them back within striking distance instead of, putting the game out of reach.
Well, they put themselves in a hole. It seems like you might as well start the game and give the other team a 15-point lead, because even when they were going on their 5-game win streak, it's like they kept on coming back.
Yep.
Having good. They're getting off to these slow starts, and it's becoming a habit, and they need to try to kick it.
What do you guys point to as the common denominator for those slow starts? We've talked about it. We've analyzed it. They've talked about it. They've analyzed it. Is it just a simple, once you've gotten up for a few trips to the finals, you can't get up for the beginning of a 7:30 tip, regular season game? I mean, what is there anything that you guys can point to as to why Golden State gets off to these slow starts and digs themselves a huge hole almost on a nightly basis?
I think it's a lack of commitment to defensive intensity.
That's a huge part of it. I would agree.
A defense was my thought.
The defense is, they gave up 48 first quarter points tonight. 48. I mean, that's crazy. And just to add some stats, they lost the points in the paint battle tonight. 56-36. They got out rebounded tonight, 42-32. They actually won. They rarely, if ever, win the free throw battle. They actually went to the line and had 24 free throw attempts to 18 for the Grizzlies. They actually won that battle. They didn't shoot the three well. It's just the inside, man. Michael Thompson might have a point. I wish they had a big to at least just relieve the pressure from Draymond, from Looney. Just give them like a breather out there, man. And yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Is Looney dinged up right now? Because to me, it
minor.
Didn't seem like
but it's a minor. It's a minor injury.
We know how good he is out in space defensively, and a couple times I said I don't know if he's there, like if his legs are quite there right now.
Brian Iglesias, I like to call him 95-7 Brian, says this team needs Wiggins and Payton to back desperately. 131 points on the road is pathetic. 131 points is pathetic, unless the other team has Doug Moe coaching and Alex English at small forward. It's not good. Okay, what do we have? I mean, I know Wiggins' deal is whatever it is.
It's crazy, right? 10 games.
I mean, what at this point, do they have any options? Do they have any? I mean, everything's come and gone. The deadline's come and gone. The buyout market's come and gone. Do we have any idea if like the playoffs were today, would Wiggins be playing?
Well, it's longer than even 10 games because it's been 10 games. It's been 10, the All-Star break.
You're right.
It's been a ton of games. How long has he been out?
A month. It's been about a month.
So is this just is there any end in sight on this, or is he?
Well, for the people that Chad mentioned the strip club visit, that actually happened back in November. It's just the pictures were reposted like in January or early February, and it led a lot of people to believe that this strip club visit happened more recently than it did. He actually went to the strip club during their road trip visit to Miami. And Ryan Rollins was there. Did you see those pictures, by the way? Ryan Rollins had those big old bags of cash, just throwing those once. Anyways, I don't think the strip club thing had anything to do with it. I don't know. The question is, are we ready to speculate? Are we touching this yet?
No. I don't need to speculate. I'm just kind of wondering. I mean, you're the one who's locked on.
No one is. Everyone's afraid to touch this, man. Everyone is frightened to death that if it's like a mental illness thing, they're going to look like total a-holes. If it's I'm praying that it's not his kids. I just hope.
Is this an unprecedented thing that a player is just kind of unexplained absence?
Well, I heard Bob Myers talking on the radio. Right. And it sounds like I don't want to misquote him, but paraphrasing, they expect him back before the playoffs was the vibe I got. Like he's coming back soon-ish. I don't want to put anything out there, but he's coming back. The Warriors anticipate Wiggins will be back.
Yeah, Myers said soon. Myers said soon.
Right?
I would say, we don't know what it is.
They need him.
there's
What is the word around the 55 and over community about Wiggins' return?
Yeah, as I was out trolling the community today, asking that question of several folks, the main concern was, is it a family issue? No, the serious though. Have you ever? I think the most amazing thing is that this has been kept tight-lipped by the organization. How in the world can 17, 18 players, all the front office, they all know. You got to assume all the players know what's going on, and that nobody has leaked one thing about this.
Crazy. It is crazy.
Amazing.
I just goes to show
loose lips sink ships. That's something my dad used to tell me.
But the video got leaked from the same organization, right? That the Draymond punch pool. I think
that Wiggins, there would be rumors out there and some stuff. I think that put the whole organization on full blown lockdown.
And also it shows how private Wiggins is. He's always been known as being an incredibly private individual. Some people are writing that his girlfriend, his fiance, is active on social media. I haven't seen her post anything on her Instagram account since like mid-February. So unless she's doing stories, I don't think that's true either. This is crazy. You're absolutely right, man. It is unprecedented. People bring up Kyrie Irving. That was 2 weeks. This is now approaching a month.
It's another thing, Cy, is last year. Remember, the Warriors, had that, stretch of 5 straight NBA finals, and the guys were just burnt, right? And now they come back. Last year, they give Steph gets hurt somehow, but they take a little extra couple of weeks to give him more rest. Same with Draymond. Same with Clay. Is it a possibility that Wiggins played 100 games last year and he's just wearing out? And they don't want to say, maybe there's something going on with family, but maybe they're saying like, hey, take an extra week or two, get your legs back.
I wish, man. I wish you were I follow what you're saying. I wish it was the case, but that would shock me, man. Just because of the mystery of it. I feel like if they were going to pull an act like that, they would have come up with an injury, like some sort of minor injury. Like the fact that this cloud of mystery is hanging over the whole situation, it makes me doubt that scenario. But I doubt
it too. But it's just interesting how they do tend to get their guys, their big guys that play minutes, get them rest, get them fresh for the playoffs. I mean, they're going to go into the playoffs if they make it. I hope they don't blow this thing all together, but if Peyton's healthy, if Wiggins comes back healthy, Wiggins and Peyton, and then if Kuminga gets his rest and all of a sudden he gets these, fresh new legs for the playoffs, Curry had a long rest, they could go into this thing, with some fresh legs for the most part. The concern is don't use and burn out Clay and Looney just to make the playoffs, where these guys go in gassed.
By the way, I saw Klay Thompson take the worst shot I think I've ever seen him take tonight. He dribbled over to this 3-point line and threw up a 3 that was off by about 10 feet to the left.
Air ball. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
below the rim.
I did see that.
And then he drained a corner shot on his third shot. Why am I the only person who can see this? When Klay Thompson catches and shoots, it's butter and it's beautiful, and they need to do more of it. But when he dribbles into a shot from beyond the arc, there's not a prayer in hell that it's going down. And to me, the only shot that I like that he dribbles into is the mid-range. When he dribbles into a mid-range shot, he squares those shoulders. That thing is down. Mm-hmm. If he dribbles into a 3, just start backpedaling back to the other side of the floor, because he's not even close. He's not even close.
Sometimes he gets too much movement. I know what you mean. When he's off the dribble and he's twisting from like 3. Those
off
ones
the dribble from 3. Fuck no more of that. Off the dribble from 2. Especially in the mid-range, I think it's almost like a layup for him. I mean, I love Clay in the mid-range off the dribble. but off the dribble and from three, it's like, dude, what do you? No.
I don't
It's
even
like,
want him just dribbling. Period. Like he makes
Yeah,
horrible
I
decisions
agree.
when he puts the ball on the deck.
The only guy I've seen that hits a three on the move, fading to the side, is Curry.
Or Kobe, maybe.
When Poole takes open threes set, he's pretty good. But when he tries to get that three moving to the side, I mean, it's awful. And speaking of awful tonight, how many air balls did Memphis shoot that they just like I counted at least 5 air balls, which is the most I've seen in a game from a team. I mean, they were either nailing threes or just airballing them. It was weird.
Smile, what does it say? Smile, God loves you 77, which is a great sentiment. He says, no rim protection. Other teams rushing layups on the Warriors like a middle school game. Could have had Nerlens Noel. Nick J says, oh, yeah, by the way, James Wiseman, 16 and 13 tonight. God, what a horseshit. Versailles, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. And in the positive for his differential as well. Like he actually, for change, that's always been one of the biggest.
Plus 13.
He was exactly. He didn't hurt his team tonight.
16 points, 13 rebounds, and plus 13. Did they win?
I don't know, but it's the Pistons. I mean, even why? No, I don't think any player is going there to.
He just was never going to figure it out.
Are we going to regret that trade for decades to come?
Maybe.
If we're honest with ourselves, no, but we could definitely play the captain hindsight if he ends up becoming like an all-star in Detroit, because it just wasn't going to work for this timeline in Golden State.
Could have, though. I mean, I still don't
bring back DeMarcus Cousins.
I mean, honestly, like if Wiseman was playing 10 minutes.
No, I don't want Boogie. Do you guys want Boogie?
Of course, I wouldn't mind him. I feel like they need him. He can shoot the three. He spaces.
Well, he wouldn't be eligible to play in the playoffs. So for that reason, I would say no.
Why wouldn't he play in the postseason?
Got to be there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought they had to be on the team by a certain date that had just.
That was March 1.
Is that
I
the
think
buyout
that, but I
only?
think that applies to buyout players. Yeah. So if you just pick up like a free agent right now, they can still play in the postseason.
Okay, thank you for correcting me.
Go get the Aussie. Go get Andrew Bogut. Yeah, I'm kidding.
But no, I wouldn't mind Cousins, man. I wouldn't mind Dwight Howard. There's a lot of bigs out there that they could pick up.
Cousins. Wiseman tonight, 8 of 12 on field goals, 16 points, 13 rebounds, 1 block. But more than anything, when they show him, he's so much happier there. I mean, he's happier there. He fits there. He doesn't fit here. I don't know what happened here. But
what is it with the Bay Area picking in the top 3? Look at the guys. Each team has one, and the Warriors had James Wiseman at 2, 49ers Trey Lance at 3, and the Giants have Joey Bart at number 2 overall, and none of the 3 have so far been able to reach their potential.
Well, I mean, Danny, I think it's a great question. One, let's talk about forget Joey Bart because it's a different sport altogether, and there's all kinds of
baseball draft is a crapshoot.
Yeah, and I'm not even convinced
in the entire draft.
I'm not convinced that Joey Bart's. Joey Bart, I think, is better than their other catchers, but whatever
sure.
they look at things differently.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sable.
Austin Wins, who by the way gave my kid a fist pound today.
Yeah,
Austin Wins,
awesome.
Sable. I think
Blake Sable. That's right. You guys are like Sableites.
We're Sableites.
He's our Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
he's your Brock Purdy. No, but with the Niners and the Warriors, I mean, there is a reason that the worst team gets the first pick and the best team gets the last pick. And then when you screw up that whole equation by being a good team that gets the first pick or the third pick in this case, you have a team that's ready to win now and a player that needs development. And it's like we're literally having the exact same conversation about Trey Lance. It's like he needs to play. John Lynch just said, that's the problem. He needs to play, and we're ready to win now.
Well,
it's only a problem, John, if he's not ready to play now.
It's not even just that, Blair. Like, it's not even just the fact that they were objectively good teams that kind of lucked into a top pick. Both the Niners and the Warriors, like, if they picked their version of Tim Duncan, some guy that was in college for 4 years and he was polished and like a top 2 guy, or like with Lance, like, you know, a Joe Burrow, somebody that like has really done it at the collegiate level, but both of them didn't play. Like they basically just didn't play in college, and they were drafted solely off potential.
Yeah. And also, Ryan, they both are these like, you know, like really the big swing at the long-term massive payoff. You know what I mean? You could have gone Tyrese Halliburton and got a rotation player, but you weren't looking for a rotation player. You were looking for a franchise altering. You could have gone with, a different player instead of Trey, but you were looking for the home run franchise altering, quarterback. This one in the chat's kind of interesting. Hendrick says Poole has lost his 3-point shot.
It's regressed.
What has happened to Jordan Poole? You have the stats, Cy. I mean, isn't his 3-point percentage dropped precipitously?
I want to say precipitously. It's in the 32% range. Last year it was 36. It's dropped. It's dropped, and he's taking more of them. So maybe one thing he can maybe start doing is taking less of them. I mean, he's still got the athleticism. He can still attack the paint. Yes, his shooting overall though has dropped.
Looks like everybody kind of hits a wall, and it looks like, hopefully not, but DiVincenzo the last few games looks like he's kind of hit a wall because
offensively,
offensively, he just his shots are going down, and
I mean, these guys exerted so much effort just to start winning ball games without
getting
Steph.
Crunched though, on this road trip, all 3 games, the Lakers, OKC, and tonight. They're down double digits before the tip-off, it seemed like Baller said. They should just start, down 15-0 and then start the game. Maybe they'll have more energy to catch up.
Yeah. But by the way, Larry, I just put a little video in the chat from our live stream. It's it's kind of a happy thing if we're trying to. It's Buster showing off what he's going to be doing after every Giants win, which is probably not going to be many.
I got to find it here now. Let's see.
Oh, should be under coaching.
Or
like it should be at the bottom, like you can add it to the stream.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah, somebody in our comments said, "Too bad, Buster." The Giants win. The Giants win. Come on, Buster. The Giants win. The Giants win. Yes. Woo! Come on, Buster.
Let it out.
Let out, Buster. The Giants win.
I think he said Gabe Kapler's a 500
Giants
manager.
Win.
The Giants win, Buster. Come on. You give us one of your really good
ones. A signature howl. I hope I didn't tire the howl out of him.
Come on, Buster. Come on.
All right, see you guys.
The Giants win.
Giants win.
Giants win. Good job, buddy. Good job. That'll
good job, Buster.
That'll way. Okay.
Good job.
So, Buster.
That was awesome. Okay, can I tell you guys how I think
it's Rocco's brother.
Yeah, look at Rocco.
Completely woke up to that.
Look at Rocco's brother. Yeah. What's his name? What's his name again?
Bubs.
Bubba.
I call him Bubs. Bubba Booey.
Okay, let me tell you guys how I think this is going to end for Golden State.
Uh-oh.
They are going to they coasted through much of the year. They've had injuries throughout. They're going to try to flip a switch. I think they're going to smoke whoever they get in the first round. Everybody's going to pronounce them back. They're going on a title run. Then they're going to get hurt, and then they're going to check out. That's how I see it happening. Because you can't just flip a switch when you have this many older players and this many younger players and just, here it is. No, you have to have a number of guys in their prime. So I just think everybody's going to try to turn it up. As you said, they turned it up for 5 or 6 games at home. This is the crashing back to earth, and that's what I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see them win in the first round, and we're all going to get hot and bothered and say, "See, title run," and then they're going to check out and go up in flames.
So, Larry, if they play the Sacramento Kings in the first round, do you think the Warriors will knock out the Kings?
Yes, I do.
All right,
Me too.
I love that matchup the most in some ways because the Kings will be kind of like, ooh, look at this playoff party. What are we doing here? And by the time they settle into that series, they'll be down. Golden State will figure out a way to dispatch of them, and then Golden State's going to get hurt. Golden State, I think we all know the truth. If Golden State is healthy, rested, and ready, they're going back to the finals.
They could,
but they're
very
going to be able to roll through the Western Conference playoffs. Focused, healthy, rested, ready. No, they're going to everybody's going to dial it up. They're going to push themselves individually. A couple guys are going to get hurt, and they're going to check out.
What do you guys think?
What are your guys' predictions?
Well, I wanted to get your thought real quick before I do my prediction. You think the Kings finish second or third in this ordeal?
How'd they do tonight? Did they win against the Knicks?
They were winning last time I checked.
I'll tell you. I got the scoreboard up. Yeah, 110-106. It's still 2 minutes 27 seconds left. They're getting ready to light the beam.
112.
But my obnoxious brother who's going to text me with "light the beam." Fuck your beam. Fuck you and your beam.
Well, so Larry, I think that Larry is I think that's right. Like, I kind of feel like there is going to be like some really sad thing where they flame out because of injury or something like that, or they'll go back to the finals. But let's say that the former happens. Whose head is on the chopping block? I don't think it's Kerr. I don't think it's Bob Myers. I think they're going to make a player move. I think there's a chance Poole might get moved.
I hope he's moved. He was totally overpaid.
I don't know if he's movable because of that contract. That contract's awful. I don't know.
You're have to get somebody else who also has an ugly contract.
Yeah.
Poole. I still like the one Danny threw out like a little, maybe a month or so ago. Poole, Kuminga.
I didn't have Kuminga in there.
Well, you had Wiseman.
I would go Poole and a couple of ones and
Moody.
Maybe Moody. What? Baldwin for Dame, just because that takes pressure off Curry having to play all the games. You can have an amazing.
That would be an incredible show, man.
Yeah, just for the show. I mean,
and if he
can't do that, you do that.
I know Poole works hard, but to me, what is he at the end of the day? He's an undersized combo guard. He ain't what you want at the 2. He ain't what you want at the 1. He plays matador defense, and you paid his ass $35 million a year.
I mean, Kerr loves all ball.
What the hell?
Why not? I mean, Portland's going nowhere with Dame in his career. He'll never ever win a title in Portland.
I mean, even if you have to include Kuminga, I hate to say it.
I'm not putting Kuminga in a deal. I think no way. Kuminga is a guy that has superstardom.
Yeah, but Damian Lillard, like they're gonna want
not Kuminga. Not Kuminga.
So what if they took out the first round picks? Dan?
You're talking about Damian Lillard to the Warriors?
Yeah, think about it.
Why do you think that's going to be like they're staying small? Like the Warriors don't need him.
You said it yourself. They're really not that different from last year's team. It's not like last year's team had some crazy size. If they just replaced,
they did though. But they did
with who?
They had Bielitsa and they had Otto Porter Jr. They didn't replace those two. And they had Gary Payton II.
They didn't have DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo was an excellent rebounder. It's not like Bielitsa. Bielitsa played some spot minutes, and he was like
No, he played a lot of minutes. He played, and Andre Iguodala played the first half of the season a lot. That people forget about too. I just don't understand how Dame Lillard, like the Warriors need size.
How does that not? It's a seamless upgrade over Poole. It's like boom.
But you're losing defense, man. You're losing size. Like it's easy to fall into defense. He is not a good defender. Dame Lillard is a 6'2".
Either.
Yeah, but Poole isn't either. But then you have
but you're not going to just replace Poole with Lillard. You're going to have to give up a lot of other pieces too. And who else are you going to give up?
I'd give up Kuminga. No.
I wouldn't give up.
I'm not giving up Kuminga. No, you're not.
Kuminga. I would give up someone like Baldwin, and I would give up a couple of future ones.
It's not enough, though. That's not enough. If you're going to get Dame
Lillard,
you got to
trade Baldwin. I kind of like Baldwin.
Same.
Yeah, but you're going to have to give up something to get Lillard. I mean,
I don't know why. By the way, you know who's damn good tonight? Santi Aldama.
Who? What? Who? Oh, from the Grizzlies?
For the Grizzlies? I mean, that guy can flat out stroke it, man. Santi Aldama? That guy can shoot it.
Is he the guy that tried to flop on Jamaica?
He's the guy who played at Loyola of Maryland. He's a big man, international big man who's about feet, about 220 pounds.
I looked it up. Bielitsa played, he played in every game of the Denver series, 15 minutes, 15, 12, 4. Then he played in 3 games of the Grizzly series at 4 minutes, 19, 7. He played in 3 of the Dallas games, 5, 14, 21. He played in 5 of the finals, 48 seconds, 10 minutes, 3 minutes, 9 minutes, 4 minutes. It's just like he was
huge minutes where he was guarding Jason Tatum for all those runs too, and actually was an effective defender, as crazy as it sounds. But you're forgetting Otto Porter Jr. as well. He was playing. If you're talking playoffs, Otto Porter Jr. is what they missed the most. They haven't replaced him. I was talking the whole package, including the regular season, but Bielitsa did play important minutes in the postseason too.
That's a big problem against Porter because he was a great offensive rebounder. If he didn't rebound the ball, he kept it alive and got it to somebody else. He'd tip it to him. I mean, that they're missing Porter probably, and Peyton. We haven't seen he hadn't been able to be on the court, but I mean, I still believe I'm like with Baller. I think if they go into this healthy with Clay, Steph, Wiggins, Looney and Green, and the bench with DiVincenzo, Poole, GP2, and Kuminga, that 9 deep, and then you can throw in some minutes for Jermichael Green or Iguodala for a few minutes just to cover that 10th guy. That and they're healthy. That's a team that can make a deep run all the way to the finals.
I think they should be favored to win the West at that point. And I still think that these longer series, like when they can kind of feel out the other team, that's where they're going to benefit. It's these games where it's like, all right, you're playing the Clippers, now you're playing the Grizzlies, it's like the night to night is like almost.
Because the problem has been the perimeter defense. And if you have Peyton and DiVincenzo, and when Curry's a good, he's turned into a good defender. He's not a great defender, but he's a good defender. He's reliable. People don't blow by him. Like, I mean, that thing tonight when they just like the drive-by with Jerome. I mean, that's what they call cone. They just say a cone. He was a cone. Just stick a cone out there and go around the cone.
Right. Reggie Miller called it Olay defense, which I thought was awesome because
Olay.
It reminds me of Major. Do you remember one of the greatest sports movies ever, Major League? You remember that scene where the manager goes up to Dorn and goes, "Dorn, get down to the ball. Don't give me this Olay bullshit." It's the same premise. Don't play Olay defense.
Yeah.
Olay.
So, but I'm telling
Dorn's wife, by the way, slept with one of his teammates.
Correct.
There you go.
Well, what was that one?
Tom Berenger. Dorn's wife slept with one of his teammates.
Yeah.
But no, it was with Charlie Sheen, wasn't it? I thought she slept with.
That's right. It was Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen.
So, I mean,
she said, "You're a great kid." Yeah.
I think the key is Peyton back by April 1st? Is Kuminga going to be back by April 1st or April 5th or whatever it is? Today's what, March 9th?
Mm-hmm.
So that's enough time. 4 weeks is enough to get ready for the playoffs if it's a 4-week injury. But
they're 7-26 on the road.
They only need, with that playoff intensity, with those veterans, you steal one of the first 2 on the road. All of a sudden, you're going home 1-1.
And hasn't it been like 6 or 7 years since they haven't won a road game in the playoffs.
I mean, you only need.
They always win a road game in the playoffs, but this year they're terrible on the road, and they're one of the worst defensive teams on the road.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even look like they have any interest at all. I'll say this. I think the NBA's got a real problem on their hands if the Warriors win the title this year, because it absolutely just puts up all these people who like to sit there and say, well, the NBA regular season has great credibility. Go to hell. You're wrong. It has none. If the Warriors go win the title, your regular season means squat. You know? I mean, seriously, you can't be 25 games under 500 on the road in any other sport. And I mean, could you imagine if the Giants were 25 games under 500 on the road and then won the World Series? Yeah, it's unbelievable. And a lot of people, guys, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, and I want to get your thoughts on it. A lot of people feel like road record is a major indicator of who really the best teams are.
I would agree.
The Warriors have far and away the worst road record. They're 7-26 on the road. The best road record in the conference looks like it's Sacramento. They've got 18 wins on the road. The Clippers have 18 wins on the road.
They have the second worst road record, Larry, in the NBA.
Yeah.
They have the third worst defensive rating on the road in the NBA.
Yeah, they don't. So, do you guys believe that road record is an indicator of championship worthiness? I mean, give you an example. Milwaukee's 20-12 on the road. The Celtics are 20-12 on the road. They lead the NBA in road wins.
What do you guys attribute?
Is it important?
Well, if it was any other team, Larry, I would wholeheartedly say that it's doom and gloom. All hope is lost. Given what this team has done, given what they've accomplished the last 8 years, even with the abysmal road record, you just can't count these guys out. It's weird.
They get the benefit of the doubt, right, Cy?
You have to. You have to
give them the benefit of the doubt. But what do you guys attribute this whole season to? What are they, 34 and 33 now? Something like that? Okay. So,
by the way, light the fucking beam. Kings 119, 115.
A fucking beam.
So what do you guys think do you think this early on season, they went to Japan, they come back from Japan, they're on a high, everybody's talking about this great, chemistry, championship team, they're all psyched, and then bang, the punch.
Mm-hmm.
And they just haven't been able to get even 5 games over 500 all year long. Do you think it's still the effect of the punch, or do you think it's just these guys are just kind of, load management mentally for the playoffs?
I think
I don't think the punch. I don't think the punch had anything to do with it. I mean, the punch is not going to fix the defensive woes. I don't quite see the correlation there.
And I don't know if I've said this on this show, but I've already heard enough from very, very trustworthy inside sources that not only did I learn the part of what went behind the punch, let's just say Draymond Green was having an awful day. It doesn't excuse it. I'm not defending it, but when you learn what Draymond was going through that day, it makes you understand what happened a little more. And no, they've definitely gone past this, man. Like the punch is foregone history for at least the players, which this should matter.
The chat right now is awesome. Nick J, light my fucking dingleberries. Senior softball games, the fucking beam. He's like the fucking beam, Bemilia. Triggered Dubs fans, LOL. And then we got this one. This is a good one down here. Kevin F says they're just old and slow. And then the Rocky Mountain Razorback says maybe we need a second punch.
Hey, did you guys?
No caps on something with that, with what he wrote with. I mean, those are 6 players that are all just failures. Like none of those 6 players he wrote are help at all. And that's almost half your roster. So, you're honest nothing there.
What I think is going to light a fire under these guys, and it's kind of a weird thing, in a strange way, but you don't ever want to poke the bear. And Dylan Brooks tonight was riding Curry's butt during free throws, going down the court. And you know that's going to motivate Steph. And I think, Steph is going to push that to those veterans, Clay and Draymond. And I think those guys are going to want to come out and prove everybody wrong. And because they know they're kind of on their last, are
they the bear? I mean, you said that to me, if they're the bear, they're like Winnie the Pooh bear. I mean, nobody's exactly scared of this bear.
I don't think you want to get Curry going. And I think what happens is these guys come to the place where they realize, look, this could be, as I said a month or two ago, I asked you guys, could this be the last dance? They may be internally thinking we are not who we were. That we're not who we were. We're not as invincible as we were. Heck, we've only won 7 games on the road. But I think these guys say, these vets come together and they have a meeting of the minds to the point, say, look, we can't go out like this. We can't go out embarrassing ourselves. Let's put this thing together. We're going to get healthy and we're going to go for 2.5 months and play our asses off. And if we lose giving it our all. I don't see these guys laying down. I really don't.
It's not about laying down. This is what it's about. The Warriors are a car. And guess what? They've got a bad muffler. They've got tire pressure issues.
You could change that.
They've got a carburetor. They need new plugs. They got about 19 different issues. Oh, and by the way, their owner is going to ask them to drive across country next week. And odds are they ain't going to make it because they got 19 different issues. And they'll be lucky to get to Modesto.
With that description, you've also got a really nice car that's got a nice body that can just get you can replace the parts, and the parts that are there they need new energy. They need we're going to replace.
I was going to say they got a bottle of NOS coming with Andrew Wiggins, and then you're getting some premium tires with GP2.
I like that.
He's able to make it back. So that is what could be, again, you're trying to put all these things together. How likely is it? How plausible is it? Can be debated. But if everything comes together like it has the potential to happen when we're talking a Wiggins return, a GP2, this team could pick up a better flow. I mean, both of those guys are really good defenders. I mean, we saw how good Andrew Wiggins was in the playoffs. Larry, if we get playoff Wiggins back, right, as good as Andrew Wiggins was in the playoffs and in the finals last year, you don't think playoff Wiggins coming back into the fold can bolster the Warriors into championship status?
Not enough. I don't think it'll be enough. I have a primary question that I want to ask you guys, but first let me say special thanks to the sponsor of this trip to Arizona, the New York Style Italian Sausage Company. Phenomenal product. Whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, you can't go wrong with New York Style Italian sausage. Often imitated, never equaled. Proud sponsor of this trip to spring training. And check them out at NewYorkStyleSausage.com. Sausage. Who doesn't like some good sausage?
Hey, sausage, get you sausage.
Yeah. Here's the question. The question of questions. If we were all sitting in one room, kind of like Danny's room there. By the way, where's Rye gone?
Yeah, where'd he go?
I think Rye may be on the bidet.
Splish splash, you taking a bath? Okay. If I gave you guys each a GER and we're in a casino, you're getting a grand.
Okay.
Grand for Cy, a grand for Baller.
Love it.
A grand for Danny, a grand for Rye, a grand for Buster.
We're even
giving Buster a grand.
What'd you see?
You each have been given $1,000 by the Krueg show. courtesy of New York style Italian sausage. No. But if you were given $1,000
I thought you were on the bidet.
and you're standing in a casino and you don't have an option to walk out of that casino without wagering on one team to win the NBA Finals.
Larry, it just so happens that I believe gambling's legal in Arizona.
FanDuel is legal there?
Yeah, I won a huge parlay, a couple of them on FanDuel.
Who would you guys put that grand on? You guys know how it works. You know that if you take a long shot, you might win big. But we're at the time of the year where we're headed towards, this is go time. It's March 9th. We're in the stretch drive for the NBA regular season.
Yeah.
Who would you put your $1,000 on to win the NBA title right now? You're in the casino and you have to wager, and you can't wager tomorrow. You have to wager today. Who you gonna take?
You want to name the odds here, Rye?
Well,
You got the odds?
Yeah.
yeah, wait.
But I mean, you don't have to take the favorite. You can take the Warriors and project it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the odds here. So if you're betting $100, Milwaukee is plus 310.
Mhm.
Then you got the Boston Celtics plus 310.
Okay, so that's what, 3-1.
Phoenix Suns plus 600.
That's 6
Golden-
to 1.
Yeah. Well, Denver Nuggets also plus 600. So Suns and Nuggets, same odds. Golden State Warriors plus 1,300.
Yeah,
That's looking pretty tasty, right?
And that's gotten better. Like a week or two ago, it was at plus like 1,600. So it's a little surprising that number's dropped. I want to
Clippers.
say Warriors. I want to say Warriors just because I want to see senior softball games puke. So just for that, yeah, I want to see someone vomit. I'll say the Warriors.
senior softball game says Larry's triggered by the beam. Fuck the beam.
What is
So
it?
goddamn tired of hearing about the beam.
What are they even? The
16 years without the playoffs. Beam this.
100 to 1.
No, Baller, if you have the odds in front of you, what are the odds for the Pelicans? Because I want to say
Okay.
if you want to take a walk,
Pelicans?
here's the thing, because the Pelicans haven't had Zion Williams in like 2
Plus
months.
16,000 is what I see. Where I'm on the FanDuel Sportsbook.
Yeah,
So-
100
Pelicans
They-
plus
they-
16,000.
Ooh, that
And
might.
with Zion, they had the best record in the Western Conference for
No,
a little while there.
I think it's plus. Oh wait, I don't know. How,
I think I would put two bets. Does it have to be the 1,000 all on just one team?
You got one team. You got to put $1,000 on one team. You're going with the New Orleans Pelicans?
No.
The 10
But I
seed?
was thinking about the Pelicans just because like you could bet 100 of your 1,000 on them, and then you could get.
To me,
side
this
hustle.
is an interesting question. I mean, there you could make an argument for like 9 different teams.
I'll say Bucks. I think if you're asking who is most likely to win the title, I'll say Bucks.
You're going to go with the Bucks.
Yeah.
Rye, Danny, what do you got?
Before the Durant injury, I would have said the Suns, but I'd just say the Warriors. I mean,
You're going to go Warriors.
Yeah.
Danny?
Because I like to go long shots a lot of times that have a somewhat of a realistic shot. I mean, I would definitely do the Warriors, but since you gave me 1,000, it's not my money.
Oh, look at you. You didn't have to work for it. Now you got a
Oh.
different attitude
I'm
about
going
it.
to take the Lakers at 5,000.
Wow, not a bad call.
The Lakers.
you can get the Sacramento Kings at double that.
But I think if the
plus
Lakers
10,000.
get in with their new depth that they've got, and if they get in, they could be scary because LeBron will probably know this is maybe his last real hurrah to go get it for the Lakers.
Maybe.
I don't know. It just feels like I don't know. It feels funny that they're on this roll kind of. I wouldn't say roll.
Danny, are you honestly going to put a dime on? By the way, grilled cheese says it's a
money.
dime, Larry. It's called a dime. Thank you, grilled cheese. Thank you.
This
Thank
is
you.
Pasquale's.
Who are you putting your dime on, Danny? You're putting on the Lakers?
If
Really?
it's my money, I'm putting it on the Warriors. If it's somebody gives me $1,000, like sometimes FanDuel,
Don't you want to win just as bad, whether it's your money or somebody else's money? What difference does it make?
well, like I don't want to
Pick the team that you think is going to win. You think the Lakers are going to win the title? Really?
I think
you're getting good prices on all these teams.
Yeah,
you could win $100,000 on the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, I don't think the Kings do it. I do think if LeBron goes
that's a hot take. You don't think the Kings are going to win the title?
I think the Lakers have as good a shot as anybody if they get into the 7th or 8th position. If they're 9 or 10, I think it's a little tough. But if they get into the 7th and 8th position and have to just win one game to get into the playoffs with the kind of momentum that they've come from, gives them a legitimate shot to knock off, let's say they get into 8th position and they go against Denver. You're going to tell me that LeBron and Anthony Davis, Russell, and Hachimura and
you haven't even said their best player, Vanderbilt.
Malik Beasley, I think, is their best player. The way he's playing,
Austin Reeves, maybe actually,
and LeBron motivated to, I don't know, because they were sunk, they were written off, they were. And believe me, I'm not a Laker fan. I can't stand him. I don't even want to see him make the playoffs.
You're a lover.
But I'm just saying, I've seen enough sports where teams come out of nowhere and then all of a sudden they get this new energy and they get into the dance and all of a sudden they've got this
You're basically
mojo.
making the same argument for the Warriors, except for the Warriors have a much better chance.
Well, I think
let me tell you, I haven't gotten my take out
his
there.
arm
So.
around Rye like that. It's
Hey,
a warm look.
I like. Yeah, isn't that
So,
Baller, who do you got? Who do you got, Baller?
I would go with the Warriors because I like the odds and I like the championship pedigree. Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing: if I didn't pick the Warriors, I'm going with the Nuggets, and nobody had mentioned the Nuggets.
Wow.
I don't like the odds.
Man, I think the Nuggets are just a really good basketball team. Jokic, obviously, he's at the top of the mountain.
That's exactly what they are.
He's
They're really
picking
good
defenses apart. And
how come nobody's going with the? I'm going with the fucking Celtics.
Oh, Larry, I was going to try and guess yours.
How do you not go with the Celtics? Celtics are the only team in this group that's a top 5 offensive rating, defensive rating. They were in the finals last year. You don't like the Celtics? You guys don't.
Their
don't
odds,
see the Celtics?
their
No?
odds are just their odds are whack.
It's plus 275 on the Celtics.
That's I just want like a little bit of a bigger return.
I might just go do that $100 and put it on.
Larry, honestly, I thought what you were going to say was the Cavs at 33-1.
Well, I do like the Cavs, like on a futures, like I like the Cavs on like a dynasty fantasy type situation. But dude, I'm going with the Celtics.
33-1.
You guys, tell me why the Celtics aren't going to get it done.
I mean, they're my title favorite.
Celtics?
I would take the Bucks over the Celtics, personally.
No.
Oh no, man! Jason Tatum really laid an egg in last year's finals.
Yeah, but he still made it there. Like,
how about if Philadelphia makes it out of the East and all of a sudden Philadelphia comes up the bridesmaids in all 3 major sports? Baseball, the Phillies.
Yeah, I thought about that.
The
No
Eagles.
Caps, the Celtics are winning it all this year. No Cap knows his shit.
He ain't capping. I mean, but I'm worried about that coach a little bit.
I like this one. Celtic was this Rain King GW. Celtics are choking dogs.
Hey, Faith, stop that. Can't do the moonwalk on the.
We like dogs on this show.
That's right. Big dog fans.
Faith really needs to hit the bidet.
Yeah, Faith doing the moonwalk, man.
Couple more thoughts before we're not going. By the way, what time do we have to be at the park tomorrow?
Oh, bright and early.
10:30, Larry, for you.
We got to hit some NFL news. I gotta bend your ear on some NFL
everybody's
talk.
going to be like, "Oh, everything just already happened."
Oh, Marty Laurie already made a bet with us that we weren't going to be there by 8:20. It starts at 8:30.
How is Marty Lurie? What is he, like 90 now? How old is that guy?
Hey, look at that.
He's eternal.
You're probably going to get hit by a bus for ripping
95?
Marty.
Well, how old is that guy? Seriously, when I was an intern at KNBR, that guy was around, and he looked 80 then. That was like that.
Let me just say this: he's old enough to make a phone call and have you put away.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Come on, Si. Don't knock the
You got
leg.
connections with Hitman?
You can't knock Marty. And I mean, come on. Hey, by the way, I do want to say something about
80
this.
like years ago. Come on.
we have a good
Old
time on
timid
the
man
show.
back then. What's up?
Hey, I'll say this. I've been at the park every morning for the most part. There's been a few days I haven't gone because I've had enough stuff for a couple of days. But Marty takes a nice walk around the ball field, like 5 trips around the,
He's getting his
each morning.
exercise.
And he gets his exercise in. I took a walk with him one day, and it's that's pretty good to walk that much. So
That's just not Rip Marty. All right.
I mean, you can't go say, I mean, you can't even say that even if it wasn't Marty about someone elder. You can't say they look. Come on. So when
You can't say they look old.
Right.
Okay.
I think you ought to apologize.
That's
right
ageism.
now.
Is that ageism saying that Marty
It's
Lewis looks like
ageism.
that?
It's
95 years old.
It's bad karma. It's the kind of thing that will make you get like tomorrow. You're going to be like walking around, locked on this and that. You're going to step off a corner and you get hit by a muni bus, and it's going to be like, oh, you know what? He was talking shit about Marty Lurie.
You can't.
All I want to know is how old he is. Fine. I'm sorry. I said he looks like an old bald.
He's gonna.
Wait a second. I don't even want. I hate to do it. We don't do this. We haven't done it in a while.
Mute him.
A minute. 1 minute of muting of Cy.
Oh my gosh!
I'd rather Cy go back to his conversation on the vax than attack Marty. Right? Okay. One thing I do want to say here though, while Cy's locked on and locked up for a minute,
he's locked up.
This is a rough biz, and couple guys really 3 guys that I respect quite a bit. Ray Ratto, Damon Bruce, and Kyle Madsen all got let go by 95.7 The Game. Somebody asked in the chat, am I still with 95.7 The Game? Yes, I am. And I'll probably be on there tomorrow with Dibbs and we'll see. They might want to talk more Warrior basketball, but you might hear me tomorrow with Dibbs and Willard. But I just wanted to say, all those guys are great talents. I've worked with all of them. Let me first say something about Kyle Madsen. Kyle Madsen is a terrific young talent, great person, covers the 49ers, has done a terrific job. Good man, family guy. If I had a radio station,
on Twitter. I love Kyle Madsen on Twitter.
If I had a radio station baller, I'd hire him tomorrow. And if I was a radio station that was in need of a really qualified guy, go hire Kyle Madsen. Good dude. Everything, he's not braggadocious. He's not an egomaniac. He's not a no-talent hack. He's talented. He's talented. He's humble, good person, great guy. So I know he'll find his way and find a good opportunity. But I feel really bad for Kyle because it's a volatile business, and yet, you know what? We all sign up for that, and some of us get paid big bucks, and it's like, you know what? It's just part of the territory. But he probably wasn't making big bucks, and he still has to experience the volatility of a really tough industry. So I feel extra bad for Kyle because he didn't. If you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and it's volatile, it's part of the game, right? It's you got to you could do other things, but if you're not making that kind of money and it's volatile, it's really, really difficult. So I just wanted to say that one, Kyle, love that guy, and if there's any, I absolutely would put myself out there as a reference for him, and I love him. I think the world of him. So Kyle, if you're listening, be strong. And then Ray Ratto. I mean, come on, I've known Ray Ratto for a long time, and he's really uniquely talented. And whether it's the print medium or the spoken word, Ray's talented and intelligent and thought-provoking. And he is so much more well-rounded than he allows people to see on the radio. I hate to say it. I think Ray in some ways is kind of macho in that, he doesn't let people see different sides of his personality that I think he should. But nevertheless, really talented guy. And, more people know Ray Ratto than know me, Cy, Baller, Danny, Rye, all put together, So good luck to Ray, and I know he'll land on his feet. He's a great man, and Ray, I look forward to the next time we're sitting on the patio in Faction in the East Bay drinking beers and just talking life. So I love Ray.
You got to cut this and just send it as your pitch recruitment for the Krueg show.
Yeah,
I have to throw my
You're
name.
all invited. And then of course Damon. Damon and I don't know if you guys know this, but I started my radio career in 1996. I was scouting with the Arizona Cardinals and got an opportunity to do some broadcast work at Sports Byline USA, who now I believe sends out credentials that include Dan Coach Emilio on them. But no, in all seriousness, I was doing a show there, and Damon was my producer. And I was doing a show with my buddy Todd, and Damon used to come in at the commercials and be like, I'm going to be great someday. And we'd go, shut the fuck up and go sit in the other room and stop bugging us. So we talked down to him quite a bit. But I knew then, and I said to my buddy at the time, I'm like, that guy's got a lot of talent, man, and he's going places. And my buddy kind of grudgingly acknowledged that was the case. And we had a lot of fun with Damon. And then he replaced me in 2005 when I got fired at KMBR, and it was tough because he was
your producer for you and him, by the way, just so you know. Go on, sorry. Yeah.
You produced
I said I was your producer for you and him when he took over. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Sorry. And that was tough for me because I was bitter about losing the job, but I was obviously never bitter at him because he's a lifelong friend. And, despite the fact that, he took over my job and I was very bitter, we maintained a friendship, and there was opportunities for me and him to work together at 95.7 The Game early on. I passed it up to stay with Tommy T and on KMBR. Didn't wind up working out for me. As you guys all know, I got kicked to the curb about a year ago, started this YouTube channel.
Boo!
And have never been happier. I mean, I've literally never been happier doing this than I've been this year. And David and I have maintained a great friendship through the years. And I really think very highly of him. He's now a man with 2 kids under 5 and, a mortgage and responsibilities. And I'm sure he was floored by this and shocked by this. And I just want to say none of this has anything to do with the talent of Ray Ratto, Damon Bruce, or Kyle Madsen.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I'll absolutely say that without a doubt.
Preach.
And those guys are absolutely awesome at what they do. I admire all 3 of those guys. Damon could do national. Damon could go to ESPN and do radio there. He could do it for Fox. He could start his own YouTube channel. Who knows? Maybe he'll join this channel. Talk to him about a number of things. I'll tell you what I told him last night, which is don't panic. Believe in yourself. Believe in your mission. Life deals us all unexpected hardships. And it's not whether you're going to face hardships in life. It's how you react once you're faced with them. And that's what really defines you. So love Damon. And, I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know, right? You guys all know that those guys got fired not because of their talent or lack of talent. It's because of the business of radio.
Yeah.
And the reality is that there's less people listening to the radio every single day. And radio is a struggling medium, kind of like the way newspapers were, maybe a decade prior. And, it's funny, my brother used to be a newspaper writer for the LA Times, and he got out of it, went to law school. Now he's a judge. And he kind of saw the handwriting on the wall. But his love, if he just did what he loved, he would have been a newspaper reporter because that's what he did. And
what do you think I did with radio, Larry? That's why I got out of radio, man. For the same reason.
Yeah. Any of you guys seen a newspaper rack?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, seriously.
I
would say this too. If you walk down the street and went door to door to people's houses with $100 bill and said, I will give you $100 bill if you can produce for me a radio in your house that works, It has batteries and is operational right now. And I think that's really it. We're now in the smart dash in the car. The podcasters on the same level as the radio.
Yep.
People have, podcasting and YouTube has an ability to. YouTube's growing. Why do you think we're here? Why am I sitting here? Why do we have 15,000 subs? Why is Danny going to have 15,000 subs in a year or two?
Yeah, plug that channel, NorCal.
Check out Danny's channel, NorCal Sports Network. All you guys sign up right now. Danny's producing great content. But why is Rye here? Why am I here? Why are you guys here? Why is Baller here?
Locked On Warriors, man.
Why is Locked On looking to do video? Why is Side do video? We are all people that love what we do, radio. But you know what? Radio is under severe challenges, and so what are we going to do to counter it? We just want to kind of grow our own individual brands, take ownership of what you're doing and putting out there. So I just want to let everybody know that it's just it's a goddamn tough business, and
Absolutely.
you know what? I haven't worked full time in radio this whole year, and yet I think I'm the best radio guy in San Francisco. So, you know what? Maybe I am and maybe I ain't, but I think I am. And I know, you know what? If I talk to Damon right now, he would tell you I'm the best radio guy in San Francisco. And maybe he is and maybe he ain't, but he's definitely on the list.
Yeah.
And so, I got great respect for the people who sit in front of a microphone and do this. But the world is changing and we have to change with it. And we all have to adapt and move on. And I just want there's no stigma attached to what happened to me last year or what happened to these guys yesterday. And I guarantee you, because I work at that radio station, all the people at that radio station respect the shit out of Damon Bruce, Ray Ratto, and Kyle Madsen. Everybody. From Matt Nahagian, the program director, to every host on that channel, to every producer, they think the world of those guys. They think those guys are huge talents because they are.
Well, Larry,
this is just business, and the revenue streams are under attack, and so this whole thing's morphing. I'm sorry, Danny, to interrupt you, but it's morphing into something different. So I just want to let everybody know that one, I respect those guys immensely. If you're wondering if I would be a reference for them, I am. I would be. I absolutely. If you want to hire one of those guys, call me. I'll tell you about those guys. And I got nothing but respect for all three of them. I feel very sad for their families because I've been there. You're making $250,000. You're making $300,000. You're kicking ass. You're taking names. Suddenly, you're out of a fucking gig. And you got nothing. And that's like a slap in the face, man. But it's not about what happens to you. It's about getting back up and fighting and using the space between your ears and coming up with some way to get your brand and your message out there. And when I say I've never been happier this year, I have never been fucking happier than what I'm doing this year. Have I had years where I made more money than this year? Yeah. But I've never been happier. And all I'll say in closing on that is just that I love those guys. I respect the hell out of them. There will be better days. This isn't their final act. And just remember that. I had a couple people, send me texts today, like acting like they were somehow gleeful about these guys getting dumped. And I just said, F right off. And then I just deleted it. Like, walk in our shoes, experience what it's like to be on top, experience what it's like to lose $300,000, and then come back and you're going to sit there and piss on somebody. And, come on, man. Don't, if you want to send me a message trying to dance on the graves of these guys, fuck you. That's what I would say. So
that's evil, man. That's evil.
Anyway, I just want to say I respect those guys and I love them and I hope good things come their way.
Good, well spoken. I would say this: the fact that they were let go, they were not let go. They downsized basically because they didn't replace them. They just they went from 4 3-hour shows to 3 4-hour shows. So everybody that had the shows before them is just going to have to do an extra hour. So that's an indication of what you were saying, that radio is struggling and that newsprint is struggling. And what we're doing in the digital media and the streaming is the new way to go.
Yeah.
David, so Larry, you and I worked together at KBR. I was your producer when this happens in radio a lot. It's a corporation first and foremost. It's a business. All these decisions are business related. When back then you got blown out, so did our old boss Bob Agnew. I don't know, who knows what Bob's doing right now. I think he's like in Arizona or Alabama or something like that. And then Tony Ryan, our friend, who went back, he got blown out in that whole situation. That was all politics. It was all business. And then Damon replaced you, and I produced his show for like a moment, and then they made me creative director of KBR for a couple of years after that. Damon is an awesome dude. Like you, Larry, I consider him a very close friend. He comes on Locked On Warriors. I told him after yesterday that horrible news, the door is open for him to come on anytime. And yeah, man, radio is just, it's always been crazy. I mean, it's just now it's even crazier than it's ever been, but it's always been volatile. It's always been crazy. I love the medium. I feel like Larry, you got into it for the same reason, right? It's my favorite art form when it comes to media, just because I feel like it requires the most talent to actually paint a visual picture for someone's mind through the audio medium. It's not easy to do. I don't hear many people in the radio industry fake it and make it, unlike other industries. So yeah, you're right, man. Damon is incredibly talented. Ray Ratto, despite being a total curmudgeon, literally just rejected me in front of my face to come on Locked On Warriors. And he's one of the very few human beings on the planet who I was okay with for him doing that. All I could do was laugh and respect the fact that he's genuine. I didn't know Mattson, but you know, I trust you. If you say he's an amazing dude, he's an amazing dude. And yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Quincy says, Larry, you're lazy. You're lazy. But you know, it's Baller. I don't know if you wanted to say anything.
Yeah, you know, real quick. I'm a 95.7 The Game guy. As we in the Bay Area, you got the two big radio stations, KMBR 680, 95.7. For some reason, I just gravitated towards 95.7 at a younger age. So I've listened to these guys for years. And, you know, like I said earlier, follow Kyle Madsen on Twitter, and he's just a great follow. And it's like these guys, you almost look up to them, because as a kid or as a young adult, you listen to sports radio and you're like, man, that'd be a dream job.
I used to do that with Larry, look up to him till I met him.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, you know, I always looked at sports radio as a dream job. So you listen to these guys, and all of them were so great. And I just, they're all going to bounce back on their feet, and I wish them all the best.
This is actually what sports radio really is in my mind. Mm-hmm. I got into sports radio because I love sports and I love talking to people. Yeah. And that's why, like, if you'll say, you know, sometimes people will say, Krueg, why do you have 5 guys on a live stream? Because I like hearing
people say that to you?
And Rye and Baller and Cy and Frank and Carl, you know, and Kylan. And you know what I mean? I like hearing different perspectives. I get bored of my own freaking voice, and I don't want to just hear you know, one. I never liked the singular show. I respect Rome. I respect Damon for years, did it solo, or JT the Brick, others, but I never liked the solo show. I've always liked, you know, 2 guys talking, or 2 guys talking and taking calls or whatever. But I like the art of conversation. So anyway, those guys will be fine. But I know today they're hurting. And today they're questioning themselves. Mm-hmm. And today they're saying, did I choose the wrong career? And, you know, and today maybe they're bitter and they're angry and they're frustrated. But those guys are enormous talents. And the guy, you know, just because the people who get fired are not the worst people. Oftentimes they're the people who are making the most money. And that's also a big part of it. And you're making the most money usually because somewhere on the line you kicked ass. And that's, you know, Damon and Ratto were beating Tolbert and Copeland badly.
What does that say about their show over there at the other station? Yeah. Well,
and it's just different businesses, different revenue streams, different challenges, so on and so forth. So anyway, you know, What,
Well, I'm glad you're still there, Larry. That's a relief. It's good to know that you're still filling in there.
It honestly never really made sense to me, like the entire radio line. Because growing up, it's like, oh, that would be sick. It's like, okay, if you're not like a national person or like you have a podcast, like, okay, doing local radio is pretty dope. And then like if you're doing it in the Bay Area market, that's just pretty massive compared to like basically everywhere else outside of New York or Boston. Then it's like that's super sick. But also there was only ever like, there's 3 time slots. And there's like maybe 6 dudes that are doing it. And like every new program director is going to want to make their move. And it's just like, and then some guys are so stamped that it's like, they basically, they're going to Terry Bradshaw, like, they get to stay as long as they want. And it just seems like there's not enough seats. And it always did seem like, okay, there has to be something else out there, and that just like provides more opportunity. And I always felt that way. Like, okay, before even like podcasts were huge, I was like, okay, I kind of want to go this direction, even though I know there's no chance I would end up with one of those jobs ever. Like there's no way I could clutch that, but there's probably going to be something else. And honestly, I thought it was like podcasts, but now YouTube is, I mean, I kind of missed the boat on YouTube, even being a younger guy. Like I listened to podcasts like very early on, even like early high school. And then I thought that was the move. And that's where all the money was, because eventually advertisers figured out you could make a lot of money on that. And then YouTube just seemed like kind of this thing that like really young kids did, or like, maybe you just watch some like conspiracy on or something. And then just it turns out that there's like a whole hungry community, and it's pretty sweet. Like Marty was telling us earlier, he's like, what do I tell you every day, Dan? What do I tell you not to be? And he's like, I tell him every day not to be a fan. And it's like, well, that's true. Like, I think with like print journalism and like when there's only so many spots, but it's like, then some people were in the stream were like, well, no, like the reason why we listen to you guys is because like you come from a fan perspective. And it's like, like, I think there's just more room for more people now. And I think they'll really enjoy this medium. Like, it's just so much, if they choose to get into it.
Wait, Larry, Nick J had good advice for you, man. He said, create a backup YouTube account. I do agree with him. I hope you have something backed up, because YouTube can at any point take your channel for some weird arbitrary reason. Senior softball games. Who are you, man? He says he was in local TV news for 15 years. Reveal yourself.
Oh yeah, that'd be like the Masked Man. So guess who
that is? Yeah, who
Data 84 says Gary and Larry ruled my mornings.
You guys were awesome, man. You guys were
Digital
awesome.
Drew, who's listening in Chicago, he says, I prefer YouTube sports talk since they only sell me sausage in a few hours, at least on this show. Listening to radio now is like someone yelling sports and then 17 straight commercials.
Hey, Digital Drew, I haven't seen you on my or Tony D. You guys need to subscribe to NorCal Sports Network, man. If you guys are Giants fans, I got some incredible stuff. We got to play some of that stuff.
Yeah, we will. Let's do it right here. Let's do it right here.
Talk about clutch. He's been using that word today. He used it with Lamont Wade. Yes.
Oh, that, you know what? I'd be down to play that one. I think is the shortest.
Let's play an interview here, but I want to let anybody out who needs to chat because it is, we've been on for almost 2 hours. Tony D says, often wrong, seldom in doubt. He says, I love Larry's sign off on the late night show. Often wrong, seldom in doubt. That was the sign off every night. And it was just my way of basically saying, you know what? I know I'm coming across like a big mouth know-it-all. Everybody in front of a microphone does, but at the end of the day, I don't really consider myself a big mouth know-it-all.
Why did you stop doing that? I'm
often glad wrong, seldom in doubt.
Yeah.
You know what? I just, I don't know. I stopped having my own show. I started doing the show with Gary, and I only did it when I did a solo show.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, and then by the way, that's it. Digital Drew says to Danny,
yes,
I am sorry, Danny.
Thank you, Drew.
Let's go.
Digital Drew, you might want to think that over. No, I'm just joking. You know what you should do, Digital Drew, is just hold it over Danny's head like every show. Just be like, I'm sub, but I may unsub.
Yeah.
Who was that? Remember we had a guy this summer, Ryan, kept saying, I subbed, and then like a couple days later be like, I unsubbed. I didn't like that comment. And like a couple days later, I subbed again. Oh, there's a guy. I unsubbed. I took it back.
I've encountered people like that. It's funny.
Hilarious.
Anyway, Hey, so I mean, I don't want to be morbid on the whole firing thing and take this show down that road, but I did feel the need to bring that up because
Glad you did.
Because I feel bad for those guys. We're gonna play some baseball interviews, and Cy, I know you're a locked on Warriors.
Yeah, I'm gonna bounce.
You're gonna bounce.
Yeah,
All right, Cy, tell people what you got going on the next few days.
You got to watch some of these interviews, though, Cy. They're
All right,
good.
fine. I'll stick around. I mean, I just don't. I never like to, just force my way in or be on. So yeah, I'll hang out, man. I'll watch your show.
Baller, you want to jump or you want to hang?
He's gonna hang.
Well, I've missed a lot of spring training, so I feel like I need to catch up. When the Giants are rolling in regular season balls, I'll be watching it. I haven't watched any spring, so I need to get some action.
Okay, so let's do this. What's Danny and we're gonna go with Lamont Wade with Danny. But before we do,
these interviews are awesome, Dan. I give you a lot of credit.
Dan does some good stuff for sure.
Yeah,
but we are brought to you by New York Style Italian Sausage. Often imitated, never equaled. They're a proud sponsor of our trip to spring training. And let's get a quick word from our good friends at New York Style Italian Sausage.
So New York Style Sausage was started over 70 years ago. We are the largest producer of fresh Italian sausage on the West Coast.
What makes our sausage in New York style is really the recipe came from back east, from New York, from Connecticut.
If you look at all of our labels, there's maximum 4 or 5 ingredients, which we're really proud of.
There's no preservatives, no MSG, fresh in, fresh out.
The pork comes in fresh, goes out fresh. There's never any freezing throughout the process. We've always used fine quality cuts. We're never going to deter from that. It's one of the reasons why our sausage is so good. I guarantee you put our sausage up against anybody else's from a flavor standpoint, no one will beat it, hands down.
Hey, do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Go buy a package of the New York Style Italian Sausage. Guaranteed you will love it. Guaranteed.
And welcome back to the Krueg Show. Our title sponsor is Pig in a Pickle. Check them out in Corte Madera and in Emeryville. They're open 7 days a week in Corte Madera, 5 days a week in Emeryville. Great barbecue. I love Pig in a Pickle. And the barbecue is amazing. The brisket is phenomenal. The brisket chili is phenomenal. Seriously,
I'm hungry now.
Pig in a Pickle. Someone's like, you talk a lot of meat on this show. Yes, I do. Thank you. I do talk a lot of meat. But Pig in a Pickle is awesome. And here's a quick word from our good friends at Pig in a Pickle. And last but certainly not least, special thanks to our sponsor of today's show, Telmetrics, TELMETRIX.co. If you're a weekend warrior and let's say you hurt your shoulder and you want to rehab, you don't want to go to the doctor, go to Telmetrics.co and they can show you different ways you can rehab your own injuries. It's a great resource. One last word from our sponsor, Telmetrics.co. All right, welcome back to the Krueg Show. Now we are coming down the home stretch, and we're going to let you see some of Danny and Rye's dialogue inside the clubhouse from today. And first, we're going to go with, why don't we go with Lamont Wade? Here's a little Lamont Wade earlier today. This is from today, right, Danny?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Willie McElroy winner here.
Yeah. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. We're here with Giants first baseman and outfielder Lamont Wade Jr. Lamont, you played last night. You got the start against Team USA in right field. Are you going to be kind of doing both this year, or what's the plan? First base, outfield?
I think it's going to be mostly first base, but if I got to go to outfield, just to make sure that I'm ready, that's why I think we kind of did it last night. So just really wherever Cap tells me to go, I'll be ready to go.
Yeah. Now, did you play at first base at Maryland?
I did for 3 years, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really play the outfield until my junior year, like the second half. So I'm really comfortable at first base. I've been over there a lot and learned a lot from Brandon Belt when he was here. So definitely feel comfortable over there and looking forward to it.
Yeah. Now, you've been mostly playing, batting leadoff. Is that a position in the lineup that you're real comfortable with, or do you prefer a lower spot in the order?
No, I feel really comfortable leading off. I feel like I've been leading off the last 2 years, so no, I feel comfortable with it. Feel fine with it, and like I said, wherever in the lineup, it's cool with me. But I do feel comfortable in the leadoff spot.
In 21, you hit a home run out in right field at Oracle over your mother's head.
Yeah.
Describe that feeling when you found out? I don't know, did you know she was out there? Or?
No, I didn't know she was out there. She was just walking around.
She didn't give you a call while you were around in the basement?
No. She's just walking around. She likes to walk around. She can't really sit still in her seat. She likes to mingle with people. So it just so happened that she was out there at the time I was up to bat, and she just stayed there. And I hit it over there. I got a lot of people telling me that why did I put her seats in the outfield and stuff like that. But I think this year I might just put her out there if I can get that same result. So she might be sitting out there a little more often.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, last year you kind of broke camp. You had an issue with the knee. How's the knee feeling this year?
Yeah, knee's feeling great. Rehabbed it all season. Really got healthy. Coming in feeling great. Last year didn't feel so great with the knee. Had a lot of stuff going on with that. But this year putting it all behind me and feeling good and trying to stay healthy.
Was it just was it stuff like a meniscus, or was it just?
No, it was. It happened in spring training. Game 3 at Maryville. Piece of the kneecap broke off or whatever, and just had another thing going on in there that we couldn't get right. But luckily this off season we're able to just focus on it and rehab it every day this off season, come back, come spring training, feel healthy, so it's good.
All right, Lamont. Okay, I know a lot of Giants fans, obviously everyone talks about late night Lamont. A lot of people talk about clutch. I'd love to hear your perspective, just because you had such an insane season, obviously, with all of the huge home runs. Like, do you believe in clutch? Do you think that you're clutch? Or is it just like you're kind of just such a calm dude that, you're able to handle this?
I feel like I just don't let the moment get too big. It's just another at-bat. And it's just really just the team and the confidence, instilling confidence in me to go up there and produce. So, just go up there calm and relax, and you get it done, you get it done. If not, you'll be back in there tomorrow and you have another crack at it tomorrow.
Do you feel like you're like in the zone sort of in those situations? Like the way you see like Steph Curry's like all of a sudden he's cooking, he's hitting a bunch of threes, and you can tell he's just like in a different plane of reality.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that how you feel? That's how you feel in
your
those
focus
situations?
You definitely get focused in more in those at bats. Lots on the line. It's a win or lose situation, so you definitely focus up a lot more in those situations and try and key in and really run off your plan to the best as you can. So you definitely feel focused in those at bats.
Awesome.
As describe to the listeners when you're hitting like you're hot, okay, versus when you're in a slump. Does the ball look different, the size?
You could say that. You could definitely say that. When everything's going well, you feel like you can hit any pitch, any location. When it's not going good, you feel like anywhere you're just susceptible to getting it out, and nothing's going right. But when things are going right, the ball does look a little bigger, and you're definitely excited to get it back up to the plate as fast as you can. But when you're slumping, you really hope that your placing line just skipped once or twice.
Yeah, I mean that's the way sport. I mean baseball. When you think about it, it's a game of failure. You fail 70% of the time, you're going to make the Hall of Fame if you're successful 30% of the time. So with that in mind, when you're struggling, do you just kind of like just say, oh, everybody goes through this. I'm a battler. I'm going to get back up there, and I'm going to be, I'm going to get through this thing.
That's a part of the game, right? It's going to happen. But that's where you really trust and rely on your work and your preparation and your process and your routine. So that's what you go back to and revert to, and hopefully you get back on track sooner rather than later. But yeah, you just know that that's one game. Tomorrow is a whole new game. 0 for 0, and go up there with a whole new mindset and keep turning around in a heartbeat.
Describe the feeling of spring training. It's hope for the fans, and I feel like it's hope for the players too. The only thing I can think of is I remember in college, I had a really good quarter, and a not so good quarter, and it was just kind of brutal down the end. And then it was like, okay, new classes. Yeah. All right, you know what? I'm gonna get A's in all these now.
Absolutely. You come into spring training, everybody's feeling good. Day one, you get to see everybody. You haven't seen them since last season. And then once the grind starts, you don't get a couple hits here and there. You start creeping a little bit, but then you just revert to it's a long season. We got a lot of way to go. It's only still March, so good things are going to keep coming.
I asked this of Blake Sable the other night. We were on our channel, NorCal Sports Network. We were talking to him. Baseball players, I played ball through high school and, had superstitions, if I got 2 hits in a row or something, maybe, oh, that was a good game. I'm not washing these socks. You got any superstitions?
That's mine right there. If I come to the park, I get a hit, I wear that same outfit that I wore the previous night until I don't get a hit in it.
No washing it or nothing?
No. I take it off as soon as I get home. I put it in one spot.
Stinky and everything, you just wear it again?
It doesn't matter. I'm wearing it back.
It smells like success.
And everything that I wore at the field that day, that jersey, the pants, the exact socks on what foot it was on, to a T. I'm doing the exact same thing.
We need you to get like 10 hits in a row, 3 straight games.
I'll be wearing the same clothes.
Come into the dugout the next game, players are like, yo, stay away from Lamont, man.
I'll be wearing the same thing for those 10 days.
That's awesome. Same thing with facial hair?
Everything stays the same for as long as I get that hit.
Nice.
Oh, wow. So you could look like, if you get really hot, you might look like Brebbia this year?
Maybe. That would be a good thing. That would be a great thing. I hope I do look like Brebbia.
That would be awesome.
That would be.
I was, do you have any more questions?
I think I'm good.
We'll let you go. Thank you so much for
taking the time. I appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Lamont, I'm Stephanie.
There you go. Lamont Wade. Didn't see him today, by the way. The Giants beat the Brewers today, 5-2. And there were some great moments. Conforto went yard. Guys, Michael Conforto is going to have a big year. I'll tell you that right now.
He's hit 3.
He's swinging it. He's swinging it.
I tried to tell you guys, man. I love me some Conforto. He hasn't had his career year yet, and he's a guy. I feel like he could hit 270 with 25 bombs. Approaching 100 ribbies. I love Conforto.
Yeah, there were other guys today too. Izon Diaz got a hit. He looked good. Piscotti had a triple, drove in a pair. Roberto Perez hit a home run down the line. That was impressive. And then on the mound, I talked to Keaton Wynn in the clubhouse this morning, and Keaton Wynn looked good, man. I mean, 2 innings, he gave 1 hit, struck out 1. I'll tell you the guy, though, that really was like the eye-opener for me today. The Giants have a reliever named R.J. Dabovich, and this guy came on in the 9th, and, I mean, the 9th inning was over in like 90 seconds, and he walked a guy. So, I mean, you're talking about, I mean, he looks overpowering. And I don't know how much more Danny and Rye have seen of Dabovich this spring. I just got down here today. It's the first game I saw all year. But Dabovich, I don't know. I doubt he's going to go north with the club, but he is going to be in that Giant bullpen this year. You can bank on it. We're talking about 96, 97, pretty good command, pretty nasty breaking stuff. He looks good, man.
You mentioned he's a guy that they protected in the Rule 5 draft, I believe, kept him from getting taken out. Yeah. He's a guy.
A killer splitter.
Listen to this. He throws a pretty nasty splitter. I talked to Patrick Bailey, and we asked Bailey.
He had a hit today, too.
Yeah. down the left field line. Yeah, that was a nice hit from the left side. I asked Bailey, I says, have you ever caught Kevin Gausman? He said, yeah. I said, what's the difference between Gausman? You guys have seen Gausman's splitter. It's like the best in baseball. I said, how does Keaton Wynn's splitter compare to Gausman's? He goes, it's just as good. And then he goes, it's actually better.
And he was like, it was not like a inflammatory. He was like, he was like, oh, it's the same. Actually, it's better.
Yeah. So if you're getting that from a catcher who's caught both, and Larry, you tell everybody what Wynn's speed on his fastball after what he told you.
Well, yeah. So I'm talking to him, and he's like, I had TJ surgery, which is short for Tommy John. And he's like, so we start talking about it, and he's like, yeah, before the surgery, I was 92 on the gun. After the surgery, I hit triple digits. Wow. He picked up 8 miles an hour on his fastball after surgery.
Of course,
where does his fastball sit right now, velocity-wise?
Well, he can touch 100, but he's like 96 to 98.
Of course, I donated my ligament to him, so that's
that's right. Danny, the cadaver went into Danny's elbow, took out the ligament. But I mean, that just shows modern medicine right there. That's modern medicine. When you can take a cadaver and take a ligament and insert it into a guy's elbow, and suddenly he's not as good as he was, he's better than he was. That's wild.
Imagine if Purdy got that, and then he's just slinging.
Suddenly he's Dan Marino. Dan Marino. He's like the kid. He's like that.
Rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year.
Oh yeah.
Rookie of the year.
Would you agree though that
Chet Stedman was the manager? Right?
Would you agree that Purdy's injury is more serious just because typical, Tommy John type things is just as a wear and tear thing, whereas in his case,
actually listen to this.
We got expert advice.
We got some advice today. We were in the press box, and there was a doctor that is doing from Stanford who is out doing a storyline,
a research project,
on people's arms that go bad that are Tommy John. And we were talking to him we mentioned Purdy, and he said, oh, Purdy, he thinks he'll be fine because it was not from wear and tear. It just snapped. And
so he was saying like the Tommy John thing is like a repeated over time thing, but because Purdy's was like sudden
that's better. Okay.
Would it be like a cleaner break? Is that what it sounded like?
It's not a wear and tear injury, but more of just an impact injury.
I feel like the impact thing causes more trauma though, but look, if the doctor says so, more, then there you go.
We'll find out tomorrow because tomorrow's Friday is the day Purdy has his surgery. So
Larry, and
hopefully
you should talk to this guy. He said he's going to be in the press box for Colorado, and he's like, oh, I'll have some info for like after Purdy surgery's done.
By the way, one of the guys I'm looking for to do an interview with is Farhan, and I'm going to track him down this weekend. I will not get in my car to come back home without Farhan driving with me. No, without Farhan talking to me. But I'll say this,
you found
the Carlos Rodon news.
Wait, have you found the bunker yet? It's just like it's through the minor league area.
Where the bunker where Farhan's hiding?
Yes. Yeah. they've popped it up with fiber internet. Though.
Farhan, if you're in the chat right now, I'm coming for you tomorrow. I'm coming for you. But no, I do want to talk to Farhan. I always had a great relationship with Farhan, but I mean, let's be honest. I've been ripping the hell out of the Giants because the Giants were just horrible this last year. I mean, it was a bad, boring, awful team, and we did nightly live streams, and I probably said it about 700 times.
Larry, how much better is it that you're doing this now versus your KNBR days? Because the KNBR, I mean, you can't just freewheel and criticize the Giants. I mean, that's a bit harder. And now you can just go off and say whatever the hell you want. Is that better? I mean, is it? What's your reaction?
Okay, this is how I feel about it, and I've talked to Ryan about this many times. I really believe that if you're critical, that's good because I think you should be critical. But like somebody said to me MF said it the other night in the chat. He's like, man, last year Danny was super critical, and now he's like, Danny's very positive about the Giants. Well, I laughed when I saw that because, that is the difference between we're sitting here, no connection to the team, and now we're going into the clubhouse talking to the players.
Right.
You can't help. I mean, you can't help but be a little bit more balanced in your commentary when you know that tomorrow we're going face to face, baby. And so I always liked face to face because I always wanted to speak the truth, but then I want to face guys up because if you want to rip me, I'm right here. Let's do it. That's fine. I'm fine. I'm a big boy. I worked for a football team for a year where everybody on the team called me "fuck you, Larry" for the entire year.
Really?
Yeah. Fucking Larry. Seriously, I ran into David Diaz and Fonte at a Safeway 10 years after the season. And I'm like, Dave. He's like, oh man, it's "fuck you, Larry."
Oh,
yeah. I'm sitting there. I'm like, Dave, 10 years have passed. But it's in their minds, I was still "F you, Larry." My point is just that, you know what? I think you're better when you go into the clubhouse, into the locker room, and talk to the guys, and then try to be critical but fair. Yeah, that's all I ever wanted to do. Like if somebody said to me, "What do you want your legacy to be?" Like, what do you want your legacy as a broadcaster to be? I want people to say that guy was critical, but that guy was fair. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't personal. He was very critical, but he was always fair. If you told me you're going to be critical and fair and it ain't personal, that's the holy trinity of good analysis, in my opinion.
You think you become more fair with the interactions, the interpersonal communication with the individuals for the organization.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
I think like you're going to be a little bit more measured about the Giants lose 10 in a row to start the year. We're doing a live stream. It's April 10th, 12th. Danny and I are sitting there. Are we going to sit there and go, they fucking suck? Maybe if we're not going in there. But if we're going in there, maybe it's more like you get a little bit more analytical. You get a little bit more less fatalistic. You have a little bit more optimism. You try to cut it a little bit more down the middle. Not because you fear these players, reaction. It's just human nature to be a little bit more measured when you're going to have to answer for what you're saying. And I think that's good, man. I think that's good. I'd rather be a little bit more measured and go into the room and talk to the guys than be able to, shout to the holy hell they suck and then never, ever have a guy from the team on my show. I mean, I liked what we did last year after the Giants games. There was COVID and there wasn't a lot of access and this and that. But I would have liked it more if we could have had more players on the team, if we could have gotten more actualities and gone into the clubhouse, talked to more dudes. Yeah. So, I think to you guys, the audience, if I'm a Giants fan, do you want to hear from me and Rye and Danny and Cy and Ball? Or do you occasionally want to hear from Craw? Or occasionally you maybe want to hear from Belt or maybe Conforto? You know what I mean? So anyway, that's where I come down.
I really wish I had more access with the Warriors. The Warriors, especially this year, they have been on such lockdown when it comes to media access, and it shows. Like when Kerr is on 95.7 The Game, for example, and he's actually answering longer questions, having conversations, facing criticism, because the beat pool, like they're lobbing softballs at him all day, and you can hear he gets like taken aback sometimes, right? Like a lot of people think Damon Bruce got blown out, for example, because he compared Patrick Baldwin Jr. to James Wiseman, and Kerr was like legitimately offended.
Nothing to do with that.
Had nothing to do with that. No, but nonetheless, like Kerr should not have reacted that way is what I'm trying to say. And I think it's because they've been so shielded from the media this year. And maybe I would not be as vitriolic in my criticism as well if I had more access. Right. I would love to talk to Kerr. I would love to talk to him.
You would understand where he's coming from if you had the ability to say, "Hey, bro,
absolutely.
Where are you coming
they're
from?"
Never available. They're never available. And they're available for 95.7 The Game because they have a contractual obligation.
Right.
And
I did that interview 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
And I left that interview saying, you know what? I asked the questions I want to ask.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, and I felt like we advanced the conversation a little bit.
I can't. Yeah, but if you're not 95.7 The Game, if you're not NBC Sports Bay Area or a newspaper who travels with the team, like you're not getting that access at all. And I think the Warriors, it would behoove them to actually open it up a little more.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to play your Ramos one, Danny?
Oh, sure. It's cute.
We both caught up with Ramos, by the way.
Yeah,
I had a great conversation. I'll play my interview later this
week. What's the Rodon thing though? Someone said there was Rodon news, and then like that got injured.
Yeah, he got it.
Rodon is going to miss the start of the season. It's a huge injury blow to the Yankees. They're going to be without him. The Yankees paid him, or the Yankees used the word mild to describe his elbow issue. But let's be honest, there is no such thing as a minor elbow.
What is it?
They gave him $162 million, and the Giants probably dodged a bullet.
What is it? An Italian sausage?
Val Ramos says, New York style sausage is fire on the grill. Try it out. You won't regret it.
Yeah.
Val.
Grill's the move.
Hey, Val, I'll do the goddamn sausage reads. All right? I'll do that, Val. No, I'm just joking. What if I actually got pissed at Val for loving the sponsor? All right. Well, let's play Ramos. Yeah. How long is your Ramos, Danny?
I think it's like 8 minutes. Maybe?
Is it 8 or 10?
I don't know.
It's up there.
Let's play Ramos. If we get bored, we'll fall asleep.
Yeah.
Should I put shorts on? I got my leggings on.
You're fine.
Oh, you're good. I got.
All right, cool.
You what do you waist up?
I'm naked too. So.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Here with Giants outfielder Elliot Ramos. Elliot, you got a chance last night to play against Team USA, and you mentioned you were rocking some Griffey Nike shoes. Did you get a chance to meet your idol Ken Griffey last night?
Oh yeah, it was great. I mean, I didn't play last night. I wish I could, but I was in the cage hitting, right, practicing, and I didn't expect that. The Team USA just started coming in, and I saw Griffey coming in, and I was like, oh, I want to say hi to him. I want to shake his hand. Because the thing is, I saw him in the Fishers game in 2019, but I didn't really get the chance to talk to him, to interact with him. So yesterday, I just shook his hand, and I was like, I just wanted to meet you, how you doing? And it was cool. It was cool to me.
Did you have the shoes last night, or you just get them this morning?
No, I got them just now.
Oh, let's take them. Can we see them?
Oh, for sure.
These are so sick.
These are sick. Yes. Imagine if you had those last night. You could have had them sign them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Look at
They're
those.
so clean, huh?
Oh my!
Do you know if Griffey are these retro, or are they coming out with these, or is this a special Elliot Ramos?
I mean, no. I mean, everybody. I think Crawford has them. A couple of people have them. I think they're just coming back with them. Yeah.
Those are nice. Those are nice. Last week I was in. I had my orange and black Nike shoes, and I said to Craw, I said, hey, you're known for shoes. What do you think of my shoes? He looked down at him. He says, oh, pretty nice. He goes, I actually own a pair of those, but different color. He goes, I don't have that color scheme, but he says, I may have to look at that.
It was last time I was here, and he was like, I haven't worn these shoes. They're just bright orange, just pretty loud for a 60-year-old man walking around. But I was like, dude, no, you gotta wear them. You gotta wear them. The boys will like it.
Yeah, so the other day I was watching you play, let's see, who was it? Was it against, yesterday was Tuesday, Monday's game. You got a base hit, nice hit. I think it was your third at bat. Cincinnati, right, over in Goodyear. Yeah, nice, solid hit. How's the swing feeling this spring? I know you changed it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I've been feeling good. Honestly, with JV this offseason, I worked on knowing my body, knowing the swing, knowing where I'm at, you know what I mean? Being more relaxed at the plate. So right now it's just a matter of the mindset, you know what I mean? Just have a good mindset going up to the plate, just having the confidence to know what I'm doing at the plate, you know what I mean? And that's about it.
Yeah, are you, you mentioned Justin, are you doing any work with Dustin?
Justin.
Doing anything with Dustin Lynn at all, or just work with Justin?
I work with Dustin only.
Oh, okay.
Dustin came early January for the camp. And that's when we started working all together. I worked a little bit with JD, Crawford. I was hitting with them in the offseason. who else? Conforto.
Yeah.
Played with him for a little bit too. Great guys, yeah.
Yeah. So are you excited to watch the World Baseball Classic with Puerto Rico?
Oh yeah, my brother is playing over there.
Oh, your brother's
I
playing?
need to watch it, yeah.
Did you have a chance to maybe play for them and just
No, I decided to stay here.
work on?
Yeah, work on my stuff, work on myself. Yeah, I haven't been. I know last year wasn't the best year for me, so I kind of wanted to get my feet under like me. You know what I mean, and just feel better about myself here.
Yeah. So. Go ahead, Ray.
I was going to say that, that's awesome. And speaking of last year, one thing that, like, especially all the fans point to is, like, you came up and those, like, two hits you had. I don't
third game against San Diego.
Yeah, against San Diego, and everything was like 110 miles an hour, like crazy hit. That's what everyone points to is the velocity off the bat. Yeah. Do you know the highest velocity you've hit a ball?
Yeah, it was the other day in Chicago Cubs, the first game.
Yeah.
I had 115 down the line.
115.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the first one, yeah.
Yeah. Now, when you came up, you were drafted, I think, as 16, 17-year-old? 17. First round pick, and you were kind of known as a guy that's a 4 to 5 tool player, which, strong arm, bat speed, power,
sweet shoes,
swing, everything. What would you say is in your opinion, is your greatest tool that you possess? As a
power, honestly. Power, and I can move a little bit. I can run.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, I can make some damage on the base.
Do you have goals at all, like someday to be like a 30-30 guy?
Yeah, for sure. This year, my plan is to steal 20. I want to steal 20 bags. Because I got into 15, but last year I didn't steal that many. But this year I want to steal like 20 and just stay on that path, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at least steal 20 every year.
Okay, how weird are the big bases? Does that change it?
Not that bad, honestly. Nah, it's kind of like easier to cut them because you can because you got kind of like more room to step on the base.
Sure.
At the beginning it was a little weird because they were like more flat than the other ones. But now it's easier. Like you get used to it.
Is it softer, the bag, or is it still firm?
It's firm. It's just like flatter. Like you know how the ones before had like a little,
hump in the middle, right?
So these ones are more flat.
Yeah, those ones with the old ones too. The hump is kind of slippery, aren't they? If you step in the middle of it, you can.
You can break your leg or something.
Yeah. Why don't they? Originally baseball came up with, it was kind of like a
pillow?
Yeah, like a pillow.
That's what I was saying, memory foam.
Yeah, would that be better if it was a softer bag to slide into?
I don't think so. I mean, I think when you try to step on the bag, you get stuck. Yeah, you get stuck in it.
Oh,
so I
yeah,
think these ones are good because it's like kind of like rubber, maybe, like rubber, right?
Yeah.
So it's easier to just step on it and just keep going.
Okay, so then back to the stolen bags. How do you think the pitch clock's going to affect that? Is it going to make it easier for you guys, or?
I don't really know. I have to see how the season goes on. Now everybody, the other day I was at the plate, and the pitcher was kind of playing with it. It was waiting until like 3 seconds to pitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, like I'm just gonna stay here forever waiting. You know what I mean? But it's a little tricky. We have to see as the season goes on. We have to see how it works.
I haven't seen the lineup today. Are you in the lineup today?
Yeah, I'm coming in second half for Scotty. Yeah,
oh, okay. So you'd be out in left or right field?
Left.
Left. Okay.
Yeah.
I know I've asked this before. You love center too, don't you?
I love center.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Yeah.
I love right field. I love playing right field too because it's easier to throw.
Yeah.
You don't have to like the mount in the middle or nothing like that.
What about? Are you already kind of used to the layout with the right field at Oracle? Because I know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It ain't. I mean, you have to let the ball do whatever it's gonna do. You know what I mean? Like if it bounces like somewhere weird, like I will have to play it off, like and try to like make a good play. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
When you were drafted, and then coming up through the Giants system in low A, and then moving up all the way up through, a lot of people. You heard comparisons, I'm sure, to Willie Mays, right?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, because you kind of have a similar. Yeah, not too fair. Yeah, how did that affect you? Was that like? I'm sure it was flattering, but did it put any pressure on you to feel like you had to perform?
Not really. I mean, we're way two completely different players. I think Willie Mays is a legend. Willie Mays is Willie Mays, and obviously, like I'm playing in a different era too. Like you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like. It feels nice to be compared to a legend for sure, but I got my feet on the ground, and I think I can do a pretty good job, but we'll have to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is there anything in particular? I know you changed your swing a little bit, but that you're working on this spring as far as what you're looking for?
Mostly my back leg. A lot of times I don't rotate my back leg too much, and it's because my front leg, my stride is too long. So whenever, like, if I keep it short, it's easy for me to rotate. You know what I mean? If I don't keep it short, and I'm not in a good position, like, my leg won't rotate, and I just keep dragging it instead of like actually like using my backside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the most I'm working on, because I'm seeing every pitch good, the slider, fastballs, like everything. I'm seeing the pitch good, and I feel good. I feel comfortable at the plate. But it's just that, like, I have to give myself a chance by like rotating better. You know what I mean? My backside.
Yeah. Now, how exciting was it for you? For a few days when the Giants signed fellow Puerto Rican Carlos Correa, was that something that was you were pretty excited to be like, hey, got a brother from your country?
I've never really met him, but I definitely wanted to meet him. I heard a lot of good things about him. I heard like he's like JB said, he's a baseball rat. Like, and I love that. I love talking baseball. I love like learning. I listen to anybody that has like something to say about baseball. You know what I mean? I talked with Bebo Perez, with Roberto. I always talk all the time about baseball, and he tells me, like, 9 years in big league, right? Like, can't beat that. I have to like listen to everything he has to say. So yeah, I definitely wanted to meet Correa and just see what he got to offer for sure.
Yeah. So anything else you got, Rye? Or?
I think that's about it, dude. Thank you for giving us this much time. It was awesome.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Ed.
Good luck, man.
All right, good luck.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
There you go. A little bit of Elliot Ramos, who's a tremendous guy. And we talked to him today. I talked to him a little bit today as well. And, I almost feel like the Mays comparison is a curse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like he should never talk about that ever again, just because Willie Mays is Willie Mays. And, you know what I mean? It's like, and he's not saying he's Willie Mays.
Oh, no.
Others have said he's Willie Mays. But I'll say this.
People said that.
A guy who we both know, who was there today, who we love and respect, who said he reminded him of Willie Mays' body type, now believes that he's got nothing and that he's never going to make it. And I believe he is going to make it. And I hope the Giants don't trade him, because I'm convinced that he is going to make it. And I just don't want to see it be somewhere else, because I think this is the kind of player, you trade most players and you don't have to worry about it. If this guy fulfills his potential, you're talking about a star. You're talking about a guy who could have a huge star career. So I really hope that whatever the Giants number of hitting coaches they have, whatever, group of people they have trying to develop their players, I hope they can reach this kid and help him, because the bat speed, the foot speed, the arm strength, it's all there. The Giants don't have guys running around like Elliot Ramos. He stole third today. He stole second.
How about that inside? He said he wanted to steal 20 bags, and then he stole second, and then tried to steal third like 3 or 4 times.
Right. And then, exactly. And he kept going. But the guy's got a tremendous hose in the outfield. He's got big time bat speed. You asked him about it. He said, "What's the hardest ball you ever hit?" It was like 2 days ago or something, right? It was like, I think the guy, I don't know what's going to happen. There's a couple guys in the Giants camp: Joey Bart, Elliot Ramos, enormous bat speed, enormous talent. And they with all their coaches, with all their development people, they have not been able to unlock whatever it is in those two guys. And I'll say it right now. If the Giants want to go to the playoffs this year, they better figure out a way to unlock those two guys. I didn't see it nearly enough depth of talent in this camp. This roster is not deep enough. They have to get breaks. And 2 of those breaks might be Joey Bart and Elliot Ramos finding themselves.
Let me ask you guys a question as guys who have grown up, and all of you, Baller, Larry, Cy, the Giants team, they haven't really had a successful teams. Well, 21. Besides 21, it's been the last 6 seasons, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. They're not a playoff team, and this year they've signed guys. Conforto and Haniger and Minaya and Stripling and Rogers and a couple other guys. If the Giants are not in the pennant race at the trade deadline, would you like to see the Giants do what Houston did in like 2011, whatever it was? They tore it down. They lost 100 games for 2 or 3 years in a row, but they started building an unbelievable, the best organization in baseball. I mean,
I thought they should have started doing that last year, Dan.
Yeah.
It's like they got nothing for Carlos Rodon. You got this ace pitcher just sitting there,
I know. I
get some prospects back.
I said that to Marina. Why didn't they trade Rodon? But I mean, if it doesn't work this year, and you got to get rid of Haniger and Conforto because they'll be back next year if you don't trade them because they won't opt out. And then you have no room to grow with the young guys. I mean, I rattled off about 6 or 7 guys that have the potential that would be fun to watch. Okay, we got VR. We got Casey Schmidt. We got Luciano. There's 3. Bart. There's 4. Ramos 5. Sable 6. Matos 7. Kyle Harrison. If you started going just young, and would you guys be up for watching the young guys for a couple years develop and lose 90 to 100 games if it meant that they were going to start rebuilding the thing, or would you rather?
And then you can figure out which of them is good.
They're giving nobody. Ramos ain't getting the shot this year unless everything goes wrong. And
here's the assumption. Okay, the one fallacy of your question here, Danny, is that the assumption is, what are we really talking about? The Giants make 50 picks in the draft, like the Dodgers and the Padres and the Yankees and the Cardinals. And do you think that the Giants scouts are not trying to draft the best pitchers and the best hitters? They are. They just can't do it. It's not that. Whether they go for it or don't go for it, the guys who actually make the draft picks are doing that in a vacuum. It doesn't really matter if they go for it. It's not the NBA. It's not like middle ground or you're selling out, or even the NFL where you've got the cap and you're not going to spend money versus spending money. The Giants are drafting 25 pitchers and 25 hitters every June, like every other team, and they're trying to draft, in theory, the best pitchers and the best hitters. They cannot do it. I would say, you know what? Everybody wants to sit there and say, well, it's a new regime. Give Farhan time. It's now he's had time. And there's Kyle Haynes and there's other guys that he's, that has run in their amateur drafts. And, it's time. Here's the one thing that I would love to get into a debate with Farhan about. If you talk to most baseball scouts, they'll tell you the highest end draft. It's like in the NBA draft. Who are the best players in the NBA draft? Right now, because the way the rules are structured, the best players in the NBA draft year after year are the international players and the college freshmen, right? Because you got to go 1 year to college. So guys go 1 year and then they come out. So the best players are typically the international players who are just turning of age and the freshmen who played 1 year of college. Okay. In baseball, if you talk to baseball scouts and people who analyze the amateur draft and have for decades, they'll tell you that the best players, the players with the highest upside talent, are drafted out of the high school ranks. And yet the Giants, year after, and their position players drafted out of high school. Those are where the stars are coming from. And what do the Giants emphasize year after year after year after year? It's college pitchers. So if the best, smartest guy, the best teams are drafting high school hitters, and you're sitting there drafting college pitchers, and you're now 20 years since you last produced a good outfielder, I don't know. Maybe it's time to switch up the philosophy. So we've switched regimes, and people talked about, oh, well, that was the old regime, and the old regime Sabian, Coletti, Bumgarner, Timmy Lincecum, Matt Cain, Buster, Pablo, Belt. Those are all that's the old regime. The one good year that the new regime had was when the old regime's players had one more career year. What we haven't seen is anybody do shit out of the new regime's drafts. So until I see otherwise, I'm skeptical. I need to see these guys start to, Kyle Harrison's got to do it. Some of these other guys, Hunter Bishop, right? I mean, we need to see Farhan's guys start to do it. And then I'll say, yeah, they got the right game plan. Right now, I don't know that they have the right game plan. And all the evidence, indicates that they may still be kind of stammering around in the dark. So it's a TBD situation as far as the Giants are concerned and this regime's concerned when it comes to player development and their track record in the amateur draft.
Yeah, but
they're presiding, I think, over their 6th amateur draft this year. They should have
Larry,
a half dozen guys on the verge, and I'm not seeing them.
Yeah, but you got to give those guys a shot because you can't sustain constant turnover with free agents and giving them these opt-out contracts. After if they're good, they're gone. If they're horrible, you're stuck with them.
Yeah, but Danny, you're acting like they had a choice. Those are the contracts that those players demanded through their agents. And why did they demand them? Because there's so much. They wanted to take the Giants' money and they want the Giants' opportunity, but they don't know if the Giants have roots in the right philosophy. So they want to give themselves an out after a year. Hey, if this thing's going south, I'm Conforto. I had 35 bombs. Damn right, I want an out.
Hit on a guy every year. You got to hit on an everyday position player, not a guy that's in your coming off your bench. You got to hit on a starting guy every year.
Dodgers do.
Yeah, the Dodgers do. Yeah,
whatever the Dodgers are doing, you might want to do it.
Yeah, go.
They're doing it well.
Steal their talent direct.
They got a guy this year named Miguel Vargas who rakes and plays a bunch of positions. Where is the Giants' young player?
Also have a state guy that can hit the
Casey Schmidt, maybe, right? Maybe it's Casey Schmidt.
Yeah, but the Dodgers also have James Outman, who's a guy that's going to get some playing.
Sac State guy.
Yeah, Sac State guy.
Marty kind of convinced me. I kind of think VR might have a big year.
VR's been hitting the ball with power. I mean, you guys have seen it.
Yeah, he hit a home run against Team USA last night.
What's his first name? VR.
David VR. Okay. And he's he's a nice player. He's a nice player.
He hit a lot of bombs in AAA.
Yeah, he hit 36 home runs over. He hit 20.
It's amazing.
7 last year for SAC, and he hit 9 for the Giants. I think 9 or 10. He ended up hitting quite a few homers in the month of September, which is,
I'm willing to give it takes time in baseball. It's not an instantaneous thing. I'm willing to give this regime at least 2 more full years to start seeing results. Yeah, this year and next year. I'm willing to give. I don't need to. It's not like I want Farhan out. Yeah. I just want to see. I want to see Casey Schmidt and Vaughn Brown and Dabovich and some of these guys. I want to see these guys break through, graduate to the big leagues, and have success. If I start to see a few guys like that, then I'm willing to give this regime longer. If I don't see that in 2 years, I'm switching regimes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if Schmidt hits and Vaughn Brown gets, makes it, Luciano, even though he was with the old regime, but you got a nucleus of guys that could come up. I mean, the Giants have potential of guys that really, if they all come out and start over a 2 or 3 year period, come out together and are successful, that's what the Giants need. They really, and there's a group of about 8 of them. I would say if 3 or 4 of them hit, that's going to be successful. When I say hit,
I want to ask about Kyle Harrison's accuracy. What are you guys seeing? Because that was the one thing. I know he's got all the tools. He's got a nasty slide piece, and he throws hard.
I watched Monday. He pitched against Cincinnati. He got lit up pretty good, but that's not the biggest. What he's working on is glove side command. He throws from the left side, so it's to the right-handed batters. That's inside pitching. He's and I noticed he came inside more, but then when he didn't stay inside and he left it out over the plate, they hit it pretty good.
Well, I mean that's what I saw. I mean, I didn't see him the other day. I saw him in the Futures game. I saw Jason Dominguez, the Yankees center field prospect, hit a ball out at Dodger Stadium that was he shit on it. It was just dead center. It probably went 40 rows deep. Then the Twins first base prospect Walliner hit a rocket down the right field line. That went out. I think Harrison is a classic example of well above average stuff. Really hard to pick up. Weird arm angle. But in the minors, he can just pour that stuff right over the heart of the plate, and they just can't do damage with it. In the big leagues, you have to pitch to the corners. You need command. You got to stay out of the middle of the plate. These guys get paid big bucks to be big-time hitters, and they are. So he's going to be phenomenal. But it's just he's not there yet. It's going to take him a little time. I would say June. I would say you'll see Harrison in June.
You think in June?
I mean, that's the plan. I don't even think the Giants, if everything goes well, they've got 7 starting pitchers on the staff, being Jacob Junis, the swingman, the 7th starter. And they also have Sean Jelly who could start. So I don't want to see Kyle Harrison just thrown up here because they, said they got to
justify some regime.
Yeah, I want to see him dominate AAA, and if he's dominating, then bring him up. But don't bring him up just because it's his expected time. If you,
I agree.
If you guys aren't cutting it, yeah, maybe you bring him up because he's successful. But don't just say, "Oh, it's his turn." Well, and the other 6 guys are producing.
Yeah,
they don't need. Maybe they make a trade if he's, maybe out of strength of they're 6 or 7 deep. Maybe they trade a starter or 2 or a position of need, and then Harrison comes up. But I don't see
the best way to promote him. I agree with Danny. The best way to promote him is start him in the minor leagues, let him get some momentum. When he's got 3, 4, 5, 6 starts of momentum and he's feeling good and you have a need, call him up. It's a long year. You don't need to empty your arsenal and get everybody there on opening day. Now, that all being said, if a guy like Casey Schmidt rakes the entire camp, I'm going north with him to start the year. Yeah. I don't have a problem promoting a guy who's ready, but don't force feed a guy who still needs development. Let these guys have success. When they have success, then and you have a need and it's middle of the summer, then go to Kyle Harrison. That would be my thought on it.
We're going to have to cut out because it's you're in the same time zone too. I was going to say it's 12:15 down here, but you're here.
So we're gonna jet. Hey, thanks to everybody. We're only, I think, on my channel right now, only like 40 people away from 15,000.
Hey,
we're at 14,945, 44, something like that. So we're basically roughly 55, 60 away from 15,000. So if you're in the chat right now, if you're watching the show and you haven't hit like or subscribe, please hit like. It helps the algorithm. Please hit subscribe. Click that notification bell, and you'll be just notified every time we go live. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff here in Arizona over the next few days. Thanks to our sponsors, especially New York Style Italian Sausage, who sponsored this trip to Arizona, as well as Pig in a Pickle, the title sponsor of the Krueg Show. We'll go around the word the room with final word here. Baller, we'll give you the final word on what do you got? You got one last thing you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, I do. We talked a lot of NBA. We talked some San Francisco Giants, which I love. That's why I was drinking out of my baseball bat cup. This is a hollowed out baseball bat. Yeah.
And by the way, everybody join Baller's channel. Baller, tell people what your name of your channel is and how they can find you.
Yeah, Bay Area Baller 18. It's one word. Catch me on YouTube. I talk a lot of Niners. We're mixing in some Warriors. Hey, Giants season rolls around. We'll be talking some Giants too. And I don't only talk to Bay Area teams. I like to talk whatever NFL, and that's why I want to touch on Lamar Jackson. I'm wondering why teams across the league, or at least these handful of teams that need a quarterback like Carolina, Washington, Vegas, and the Atlanta Falcons, why are they not bidding and putting out a huge offer for Lamar Jackson to see if the Ravens will match it? I don't understand it, because
there's a couple of reasons. I think let me throw a couple of them out. He's struggled in the playoffs. He's struggled the last couple of years. He wants a fully guaranteed contract. He's acting as his own agent, so there's fear that if he doesn't get what he wants, it may get personal. And then also, I think that there's a belief within the game, because John Harbaugh stated that he's going to be a Raven, that the Ravens are letting other people kind of do their dirty work. They don't want to have a acrimonious negotiation with Lamar, but they absolutely want to keep him. So they're going to let somebody else negotiate with him, and then just kind of draft off that team. And then as soon as that agreement's done, they're just going to match it. You also got to remember this: when you do offer an offer sheet to a free agent, I believe there's a period of a week where the team has to match. Maybe it's a little less. I think it's
5 days. I heard.
The way the NFL works, that money goes into like a separate account. So it's like frozen assets. So the last thing you want to do as the beginning of free agency, which starts this week, is freeze up your assets. So I think the Ravens are playing games. I think everybody understands it. And he's going to be a Raven. And I don't think anybody wants to screw with their cap. And also, I think you're also talking about those teams that you named. A lot of those teams aren't ready to win a championship. And so a huge expenditure on the quarterback in their mind may not make sense. So I think I just threw out a bunch of factors there, but I think they're all, depending on your team and your particular situation, I think they're all applicable. That's my read. I don't know if you guys have a quick thought on that, but I'd love to hear it if you do.
Say that's the best thing you said all night. Makes a lot of sense.
Is that a compliment or a dig? Is that, I can't tell. Like
a little bit of a dig from Danny.
No, I thought it was good.
I think that's it. I think there's people. It's sad that people immediately run to the race debate, and it's like, come on, can we have a nuanced debate without just screaming racism? I mean, it kills. I don't know. To me, if I really felt it was racism, I would say it, but I don't think it's racism. I think it's more of I think it's every team has some other issue, and that I just kind of alluded to there, and but I don't believe it's the color of his skin. I believe it has to do much more with those other factors. Danny Rye, you got a final thought as well?
Yeah, I got two.
Big day, man.
Yeah, big day. Two final thoughts. One, I really like Baller's shirt tonight.
Thank you.
I like that. Let me see that.
Thank you.
Nice swoosh.
The long sleeve, because it's been cold out here in the Bay.
Yeah.
I like that.
And you're married, Baller. You look so young, man. What happened there?
That's a good look.
I got 2 kids, Si. I'm married. Wow. I got started early.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. And I love your drinking bat, man.
I love that too.
Bat. That you got when I go on to Amazon and look for, sports memorabilia and products, I should just shop Baller's.
Baller,
store.
you should curate a store for Danny to buy knickknacks from.
Yeah, well, I already told a buddy, one of my subscribers, I'm sending him my James Wiseman jersey. I said, hey, I haven't gotten a jersey in a long time, and because I had tweeted that, hey, Wiseman's gone, I'm going to donate it to Goodwill here soon. And a subscriber reached out and said, hey, I would love to have it. So I'm going to be sending it.
That's nice. Yeah. So that's my one thought. The other thought is those who haven't subscribed, to
Danny, tell us the name of your channel, how people can find it, and how old it is, and where you're at.
I just subscribed during the break too, so I'm in. I'm in on NorCal Sports.
Yeah, it's NorCal, one word, Sports Network.
I'm gonna subscribe right now, Dan, with the Locked On account. Account. That's a big one.
It's the one with got the flag, California flag, because there's
What's it called again?
TV, NorCal Sports Network.
Network. Okay.
Yeah. And, we're just going to grow it organically as it grows, it grows. But we're enjoying it. We're working with Larry. We're doing stuff on the Krueg channel, and we're going to share, our content. Larry, whatever we can do to help each other. That's just kind of, appreciate Larry graciously, promoting the channel for us. I don't consider myself much, I'm a 61-year-old man.
I don't consider myself much.
I mean, I'm doing this for fun. I don't anticipate, having a, this.
Now you're depressing me.
Yeah, man, what am I partnering in on?
I don't consider myself much.
I don't take myself too. I'm just saying, this is
sad music.
Enjoying it, and if it grows, I hope it grows to where Larry's at and beyond someday. But I'm still going to do it and promote as best content as I can. I enjoy doing interviews.
You need a confidence injection.
Yeah.
You say, "Come here, baby." You don't say, "Hey, I hope it grows." I mean, come on.
That's what she said.
I hope it grows.
Yeah. I've been around, professional. I've been around sports and professional athletes most of my life because, my brothers have been around guys. They coached them.
Buster's twitching, by the way.
So, it's fun. But, hey, join it. Love being on here. Love listening to you guys. Your perspective on things always gives me, think about other things, especially when Cy starts going off on.
When he turns into Cy Jerome.
Yeah, when he goes Cy Jerome. Yeah, so anyway.
I don't even know what that means, but okay.
I don't either. I just said it.
Yeah. No,
hey, Baller, once again, Val Ramos says, Baller, what is your channel name again, Baller?
Bay Area Baller 18. Someone put it in the chat for me. So
Bay Area Baller 18. Bay Area Baller 18.
Oh, I'm going to subscribe to you right now too. Bay Area Baller 18.
Yeah. Bay Area Baller 18.
Right. Yeah.
My final thought is actually just GPK's final thought. Also.
What's that? What is his final thought? Where is it?
I think it's the last comment.
What is that one? In the show, this is torture.
Yeah. Seriously. When Danny was talking, I was about to say, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, man.
All right, but before I don't want to do that. I swear too much. My wife says that to me.
Oh,
yeah. Go ahead. You got a final thought?
Yeah, so I'm in my 40s, and I've been doing this for a long time, and
I thought you were like 61.
I didn't know that. I don't expect Locked On Warriors to go anywhere, but if I'm just happy to be part of this channel. I'm so excited that Larry invites me. I'm kidding. Thank you for the Warriors. What's going on with the Warriors, man? That's a discussion. Here's the Warriors record-wise are better without Stephen Curry than with Stephen Curry. So on the next episode of Locked On Warriors, we're going to discuss trade options for Steph. It's time to move on. It's been a great run. It's a phenomenal run.
It's over. He's washed.
Love you, Steph, but these days, all the good things come to an end.
We all end up washed.
I do want to promote though Locked On Warriors. So Kylan Mills joins me 2 days a week, and we want to grow the show so that she could be like a 5-day week co-host. But we got to increase the sub numbers. We got to increase the revenue because Locked On Warriors, like we make most of our money from ad revenue splits, and I can't afford to make her an equal partner until we grow the show some more. So please subscribe to Locked On Warriors, especially if you love Kylan being a part of it. And it's just called Locked On Warriors, man. That's it. Otherwise, dude, love being a part of this as always. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you.
Hey, Cy, I've been watching Locked On Warriors the last couple weeks. You had on Kevin Dana, voice of the G League.
Yes.
Hey, I love the show. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, brother. Thank you. And I just subscribed to you right now, man. Likewise. I can't. You got some awesome artwork. You got a picture of you in front of like the Golden Gate Bridge. You got some. Look professional, man. I like it. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got some good paraphernalia, memorabilia there.
I like the tiki mask in the back.
That is awesome, dude.
Is that a Warriors tiki?
Hey, I got this one in Cancun. I was in Mexico, roaming the streets with my wife on vacation. Yeah, it's a war. The guy, man, he had the Warriors actually. I'll give you guys a sneak peek. I haven't put it up yet, but I also had to cut.
Oh,
yeah. So the
stash.
Wow, look at that.
Hey, he was a tiki man in Cancun making sports masks, and I ended up talking him down. I think he wanted like $100 at the start. And that's how you do it. When you're in Cancun, you got to get the wiggle room. You talk them down. Amigo, ¿qué pasa?
Baller, I'm gonna need you crying with that mask up so I can make it into one of those memes. Where they're wearing the mask and then you're crying.
What do you need, Rye? Let me know.
One request from you, Baller. I know you got almost everything when it comes to gear, hats. I want you to order some 3930s, please. 3930 with a curve. I want to see what you look like more with a curve. You got those, those ski lifts. I want to see.
I was working in some bend before the show. I was like, Dan's gonna beat me up. He's gonna beat me up.
Dan wants a John Deere fold.
So I was working in some bend before the show. It's got a bend to it now.
You guys, last thought of the night, senior softball games. Larry dropping F-bombs tonight, LOL. On that note, fuck you all.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me, getting handled.